And then he leans into me and he's like in my face, dude. And I mean, he's screaming like Chinese as if the louder he gets, I might just start understanding him, you know? And it's like, I said, I said, dude, I was over it. I said to the translator, she was like a 25-year-old student. Like she was getting credit for doing her job she was doing. So I turned her, the guy's like this, and I turned to her and I said, hey, I have to talk slow so she understands. I said, tell this man to back up, to stop spitting on me, okay? Or I'm going to knock his freaking teeth out. I'm over this shit. Hey, where's your glasses at, Kevin? Where's the glasses
sorry,
at?
hold on.
Okay, there we go.
Dude,
Nice.
hey, yo, Greg, for like the longest time, he didn't know why we were laughing. And I'm like,
no idea.
Yeah, I was like, I called you Austin Powers, and then I couldn't stop giggling. And then it was funny as hell.
Moments. Yeah, it was good stuff.
Dude, that was hilarious, man. Cool.
That's good.
Well, everybody, we welcome back to the BMXPERTS Podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. Greg Hill's back on the show, and we're going to go over Danny wants to go over his book. This is something that we've been wanting to do with you, Greg, for a while now, so we appreciate you coming back on, man.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries at all.
Hey, Greg, were you watching any of
the path you're going in? What's that?
You watching any of the Olympics right now?
You know what, man? I watch a little bit of it, but it's just like I watched the I call it the snowboarding pump track deal. Like years ago, they used to get air on everything. Now it's like watching. I don't even think on one. Last night I watched only one jump they got air. The rest they're just pumping everywhere. It's just I don't know, man. If it's not motocross, I'm kind of over it. You know, it's just I've been watching a lot of motocross, and other than that, then it's just random stuff on YouTube or like some series that we watch on Netflix. You know.
You know, with I was for a period of time, dude. I was really into watching Supercross because I got into watching James Stewart, and
he's great, dude. He's great.
I was so amazed by him. And the thing about James, and I don't know if you probably realize this, Greg and Kevin, but if that dude doesn't win, he's going to crash or take somebody out in the process. He was just like,
he's super fast. Like good videos to watch. Like a lot of times, like we go to sleep. My wife's in, you know, I call her. She's like the controller of the remote, you know. And then all of a sudden, she's over there passed out. So I grabbed the remote, and man, I must have watched. Like she has a joke. She's like, "Are we watching Daytona again?" Because I watched Daytona from like 2014 or 13 or something. And but the old races are Supercross is cool because for me it's authentic. There's no like when you're watching professional ball. I don't care if it's baseball, basketball, whatever, football. If you know the game, sometimes you're scratching your head saying, "I don't understand." I don't understand how you can't score any points in the first half of the game, and then the second half of the game, it's like a different team. When you're watching moto, like you're watching, well, I guess the same as with BMX. You're watching real stuff. Nobody's controlling it. It's just, you know, it's good stuff.
What are your thoughts, speaking of Olympics, before we get too far in this? I was going to ask you this last time, Greg. Do you think that BMX being in the Olympics is a distraction from these guys wanting a national title because they're one-dimensional now? Like, I'm going to race UCI, I'm going to race the big hill, I'm going to do everything I need to do to qualify to go to the Olympics? Or, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I've been removed now for a while, man. Like, it's been almost 9 years. So, but my opinion is this: first of all, I'm not trying to be a jerk, dude. I'm really not, but I'm saying this in all honesty. I don't know how guys make a living out there right now. Cause like, I don't see it. I don't think they have a whole lot of races. And when I do watch, they don't have Pro Open. They don't have
Right.
Pro Cruiser. So, I watch the Grands and what, like the amount of talent that these guys have, like
Mhm.
just unbelievably awesome. But I'm looking at them and I'm thinking, you got all this talent and you won the Grands, and I think it was $3,000.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Won the title, maybe it was 10,000. I don't know. How do you live on that? When sponsors aren't paying a whole lot of money. So personally, I'm not sure if I put myself in their shoes,
Yeah.
I'd have to be making a pretty good living so that I could then manage the, hey, I really want to try to have a shot at a gold medal.
Yeah.
But if you're not making a living and you're not like, I don't know if some of these guys are living at home with their parents or not or what, but
Yeah.
I don't really understand it. I don't know if they're thinking that way or not. I personally feel like the reason when we watched the Grands on the broadcast, I couldn't believe that, there was just not, there's not a very deep field, no offense to any of them, but there's not 12 dudes that can win. Okay. And I don't know how they do it. I honestly don't. And so that whole Olympic gig, I think that, like, for instance, Connor, Connor Fields is very fortunate. He's plugged in with a lot of good companies and he's got a lot of good
Right.
professional, obviously he's been brought up in a good manner, so
Right.
he's made his opportunities, but for the most part, you win a gold medal in BMX and you're not getting like massive, like you're not like just hanging out the rest of your life. You're taken care of, not like
Mhm.
some of the other countries in the other sports. That you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's the end all, dude. I just don't know. It's I don't know how to answer that, to be honest with you.
Well, let me give you a more fair question in regards to that. So it's 1984. Greg, you're at your peak, and now they say, guess what? We're going to put the Olympics in BMX in 1984. And in order for you to qualify for the Olympics, you have to divert your attention from the ABA, NBL, USBA, and focus on something outside of that to chase your chance of getting a medal.
Right.
You being Greg Hill, you getting all these titles, and that's where you got a lot of your money from, assuming is getting the
Right.
title.
Right.
Would you find yourself saying, hey, I'm going to steer away from this focus and I'm going to go after that one chance to get that gold medal?
No,
Is-
I
Yeah.
kind of
What do you
sort of
think?
feel like I feel like chasing the Olympic gold medal thing was kind of like in the same box as like being asked to be in the movie Rad. I know it's drastically different, but the
Yeah,
point
yeah.
is, you had to stop everything you're doing to participate in that movie. So now if it's 1984, we're talking Olympics. Now you got to go race in other countries and race the UCI, or you got to race a certain amount of races to
Mhm.
qualify. I don't know that I would want to do that. I'm very, very happy that I didn't have to deal with that. But my perspective is different because I went to China in 2000. I think it was 2008, and it was a test event that was done for the Olympics. They actually sent over several riders, and they actually had a race. Uh,
Okay.
and so I got to see that process. I got hired by some Olympic facility in Guangzhou, China, and I went on 7 trips there to train their team. I got to
Wow.
see the whole deal, and quite honestly, um, at the time I was doing GHP, I was doing clinics, I was really deep in the BMX here, and
Mhm.
I got to see kind of how the Olympic the Olympic situation affected the racing here. I know USA BMX will disagree. They could disagree with me on everything, and that's fine. But I know personally for a fact that once the Olympics started, that BMX got smaller here. And I know this because at the time I was in BMX doing clinics, I had probably 25 or 30 acquaintances and probably 10 good friends that were track operators.
You were
And
a
I
track
know
operator,
what's
right?
that? What's that?
Weren't you the TO for Cutting Edge?
I was a long time ago, but that was way before the Olympics. But like
Okay, okay.
when the Olympics came around, I was doing a lot of clinics, and so I was really good friends with a lot of track operators all over, and I saw that the moto counts were down, and it didn't grow the sport, and the Olympics didn't breathe life into BMX. It didn't breathe life into the industry. It didn't make anything bigger and better.
Yeah.
I would invite anybody to prove me wrong, but I mean, you can ask Tangent, and you can ask, Sawyer from S Squared, and you can ask the guys at Answer. You can ask everybody in the industry. I'm pretty sure their sales didn't go through the roof. It didn't change at all. Some of these companies, honestly, quite frankly, I don't know how they stay in business. And then several of them, they're doing it as a second kind of a hobbyist thing or a write-off because they have legit business happening over here, and they do BMX because they love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I don't know that's going off in a whole different direction. I don't know the Olympics is the big answer for BMX. And I kind of sort of feel like if us three were sitting around and we were in a living room watching the Olympics with our, families and kids, say you had kids between the ages of 8 and 12 years old, and you're watching these guys come off of that hill and go around this track. Are you really wanting your kid to do that? Are you wanting your kid to come off of a huge hill and launch himself onto a track that's half asphalt at like high speed? I mean, is that really like BMX? To me, it's not. I feel like it's pretty dangerous myself. So I think people conversations that I've had at clinics with parents, and they're like, "Yeah, I saw that, and there's no way I want my kid doing that," and kind of makes people kind of shy away from the bigger picture, which is the Olympics.
I have one quick question. When you went over to China, what was your opinion of their riders? Were they fast? Did they have promise? Were they up to speed? Are you just like, oh, these guys don't have a chance? Well, what was your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, it's like a double-edged sword because on the one side, it's like, dude, there's no way these dudes are going to ever. I was in a situation where I had 7 female and 7 male between 14 and 17. And we train, and my trips would be 17 to 20 days. And I would go and stay at this Olympic facility. And it's kind of like the amount of improvement they have was just unbelievable. But like a lot of the kids were plucked out of other sports like road bike cycling, soccer, lacrosse. They were, like all us three right here, we rode bikes not long after we were walking. I imagine we were riding bikes from day one, right?
Yeah.
You have a foundation of riding a bike before you ever start to race. These people kind of never had that foundation. So, I don't know. Like they did have, I'll tell you, these kids, we were training on a UCI track. There was a massive set of doubles. And like, I remember on like the second trip, it was finally time. And there was 2 of the older boys. And it's like, all right, you guys have to, like they don't speak English, man. I'm talking to them with a translator, and
wow.
And they're like ready. I'm like, if you want to be at the Olympics and you want a chance, then you got to jump these doubles. So we had spent the first 16, 17 days of my trip working, training, everything. And it was like 2 days left of my trip. And it's like, all right, guys, are you going? And they're like, we want to do it. So everybody lined up, and they had a male coach and a female coach, and then myself and just me and the 2 boys were at the top of the hill, and everybody's watching, and they went and did it, and they made it. They freaking handled it. And so you wonder, like, if they would have grown up riding their bikes and doing, there's no tracks in China. There was no tracks for them to go to. If they wanted to ride, they had to go ride an Olympic style track. It's like crazy. So they didn't get to hey man, you know, you don't have any experience in motocross, but let's go to Arlington this weekend and hop on the Supercross track and give it a go.
Wow, they were really that inexperienced. There was just like
Yes, it was it was amazing, dude. It was absolutely amazing. Absolutely. Yeah.
I didn't even know. I thought I knew everything about you, Greg. I didn't know you went to China. To what year was
Well,
that?
when I was man, I don't know what year this was, like two shit. I was doing some stuff with Haro for a little while. It
Okay.
was prior to doing GHP again. And
Okay.
so 2005, 6, 7-ish in there. Anyways, the team manager for Haro called me up and said, hey, we're all going to China. They want you to go as well. They want to talk to you about some coaching. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I mean, all right, if you're all going, I'll go. And she says, there's only one catch. And I'm like, what's that? And she's like, well, you got to race. And I'm like, are you high? Are you kidding? You're high, right? Like, there's no way. I mean, dude, Warwick Stevenson is #1 ABA pro and he's on our team. And I got to go race this dude. Like, you're kidding me. Well, if you don't race, you can't go. But if you do race, and even if you get last every moto, they want to talk to you about coaching. But you have to go, and you got to race. The race is like, I'm like, whatever. So I went and I raced. Funny enough, I like missed the transfer by 1 point, which is probably a good thing because I don't have any business. I don't have any business in being 15 years retired and then trying to race these people, you know. But to have the experience of the whole thing and how the Chinese operate, it was quite amazing. They actually stuck. I know you wanted to do the book thing, but real quick, they had this.
It's awesome.
They had the seven. They had the 7 male,
Yeah.
14 to 17, and they had a male coach, and that guy had experience in 3 Olympics as a cycling as a cyclist sprinter. He had a silver medal in the Olympics, so he understood.
Okay.
Didn't speak English, so that was not good. And then there was a female, and she was a coach, was an athlete in Olympics in a different sport. And so, and then I had a translator, and then there was a team manager, right? And so,
Yeah.
man, everything was by the book. We trained 3 hours in the morning. We went back, went to sleep for 2 hours, came back 8, went back to the track for 3 hours. Everything by the book, man. And like, I think I went on 6 trips. On the 6th trip, probably 10 days, 11 days in, man, it had been raining for like 4 days straight. And I mean, dumping. The track was like a bowl of soup. You could not ride it. We're doing sprints, we're doing foot down, we're doing manualing, we're doing all kind of balance things and things that help them with their just basic skill, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the team manager, this was an older gentleman. I want to say I don't know how old he was at the time. He was probably 60 years old. I'm 62. This was like 15 or years ago. Anyway,
Yeah.
so what happened is he comes up to me with the translator, and he's like right close to my face, right? And he's
Yeah.
like really mad, and he's talking loud, and he's leaning in, and I'm like, what is this guy saying? So she's like, he's saying, we need to ride the track. We need to get on the track. Enough of this stuff. And I said, the track, we can't do anything but get hurt out there. It's
Yeah.
mud. It's not going to be good. And then he leans into me and he's like in my face, dude. And I mean, he's screaming like Chinese as if the louder he gets, I might just start understanding him, you know? And it's like, I said, dude, I was over it. I said to the translator, she was like a 25-year-old student, like she was getting credit for doing her job she was doing. So I turned her, the guy's like this, and I turned to her and I said, hey, I have to talk slow so she understands. I said, tell this man to back up, to stop spitting on me, okay? Or I'm gonna knock his freaking teeth out. I'm over this shit. And she says, Greg, Mr. Greg, maybe not good idea to knock his teeth out. I said, tell him to back the F up. or he's going to get knocked out. And so after that moment, I was done, dude, because I'm only just trying to help them.
Yeah.
And this dude is losing his shit, and I don't have control of the weather. And it's like I was done. So like later that afternoon, she knocks on my door, and I'm like, "What's up?" She says, "The president and the vice president of the Olympic facility want to take you to dinner tonight." And I said, "Of course they do. Sure they do." Because I told her I'm done. I'm not coming back ever. I'm over this shit. I'm done, and I'm going home. So I said, I'll go. So I went, and they're like, "We're really sorry. And the manager has been talked to, and we want you to stay." And, they had the Asian games coming up, and
Yeah.
they were like, "Listen, stay on. And we're going to give you bonuses if our riders get medals, a gold medal, a silver medal, a bronze at the Asian games. We're going to give you, 5,000, 3,000, 2,000, whatever." I said, "Listen to me." They're both like on the other side of the table. These are like high, whatever. They're president, vice president of this huge. This was
Right.
an Olympic training facility, not just a BMX deal. It took up massive. It was a massive facility. I said, "Look, here's the deal. You can offer me $100,000 for any medal they win, okay? And are you listening? I'm not coming back. I'm done.
Wow.
Okay, I'm over it, and I'm done. You're speaking to the wrong guy. I don't care about money. Okay, I care about principle.
Yeah.
I probably don't make as good a living as I could make, and I don't have as much money as I could probably make if I was different. And I don't give a shit because I know a lot of people that have money and they're not happy. So I got to have my principle, and I got to go with what's right inside of here. And I don't give a shit about your money and the fact that you're trying to buy me off. Now I really am not coming back. So we're done. We're done. Peace out.
Wow.
Because when you're in Guangzhou, China, it's like a older. When you go to China, if you go to the south, Guangzhou is like 100 miles from Hong Kong, right? Hong
Yeah.
Kong is like in the modern age. If you're in Guangzhou and you go north and you go to like, say, Beijing, Shanghai, whatever, they're more in the current time zone. When you're in South China, it's old fashioned. These
Yeah.
people are different. It's a different universe. You could be standing in line somewhere, and some Chinese dude will come walk right in front of you, move you out of the way as you're talking, and start talking to the person that's trying to
Wow.
they're all like that, and it's like they're all rude. It's just the kind of culture I didn't want to see it no more. I didn't want to look at it no more.
Yeah.
I didn't want to smell it anymore, dude. The first flight over there, I get on the plane, and it's China Southern Airlines, and
Yeah.
there's like 7 dudes that are from America, and a whole plane of Chinese people. And I'm like, "Hey man, I'm not trying to be rude, but wow, it like really reeks, and we got like 14 hours of this, dude." And then like 2 hours later, they bring the food carts out, and I'm like, "Oh my God, the food smells exactly like what the people smell like. I'm not eating for like 3 weeks now. I'm done. I'm good." It was unbelievable, dude. So yeah, it was an experience to say the
That
least.
that is insane. I'm glad we uncapped that story because I didn't know that you even
Yeah, I
experienced
wouldn't.
that.
Awesome story, dude. Awesome.
It's
Yeah.
a crazy deal. It's really unbelievable.
I know we got to get into the book, but I got 2
Yeah.
questions, Greg.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I ran across a video the other
Uh-huh.
day, and it was like mid to late 90s. I think it was either 94 or 96.
Okay.
And you won the Pro Open,
Yeah,
and you were on a red line. And I'm like, wait a minute,
dude.
I didn't ask Greg about that. He went back to red line then,
There's
right?
there's a crazy backstory. Crazy
Okay.
backstory. I'll try to make it fast.
No,
Take your time. Take your time.
Greg.
Yeah.
You know I don't know if a lot of other guys that you speak to, like Stu or any of the other top pros, that if they talk about the journey after you're done racing, like it's not easy, man. No one pulls you aside and says to you, "Hey bro, like, it's cool to win races, but just a FYI, you're not going to win races forever. So you need to think about what else you're going to do." No one does that. So once I was done and I retired, I was like, "All right, and I didn't get done in a way where I made a decision. I tore my shoulder out of socket and I was done. So
Yeah.
it happened where in like 91, I got hooked up with this dude named Bill Thomas. He owned
Okay.
a company. He owned a company called Pro Forks. He made mountain bike suspension forks, and then he made BMX suspension forks, and it was an elastomeric with a spring. And for mountain biking, it was a really good deal. For BMX, it was like a gimmick deal, you know.
Yeah.
So he wanted me to come work for him, so I went to work for him. I'm like, dude, I don't know what else I'm going to do, and I like bikes, and this is great. So I went to work for the guy. Worked for him for about probably 10 months. I drive to his house. His shop was in his garage, 3-car garage, and it was turned into a shop.
Okay.
And so what happened is one day, like 10 months, 11 months in, he says, hey, we got a meeting this morning, so just come hop in the car. We're going to go. I'm like, okay, where are we going? He goes, we're going to Answer Products, okay? Answer
Okay.
Products was in Valencia, okay, California, where like, anyways, so I drove to the meeting with him, and I'm sitting in this meeting, and it's him, and it's Eddie Cole, who's the president of Answer, and
Right.
it's Scott Boyer, who was the vice president of Answer.
Okay.
And so I'm like a third wheel on a date, just going, okay, this is cool, right on. Well, next thing you know, they're talking about buying his company. And so they give him the offer. And he's like, okay, that sounds good. I think I can do this. I have one condition for this deal. If you can't do it, then we're done here.
Okay.
And I'm like, wow, this guy's playing hardball. So he says, he looks at Eddie Cole and he says, you see this guy? And he points to me. He says, see this guy here? Yeah. This deal works if you hire him, because I need someone that's going to look out for my interests every single day. I want him to wake up and come to work and be overseeing the Pro Forks line.
Oh,
So
wow.
Eddie says, yeah, we can do that. So the next thing I know, the following week, I'm driving from Burbank to Valencia, which is not far, and I'm working for Answer Products.
Right.
So I'm there for 2 weeks. Eddie Cole walks into my office and he says, hey, you're the BMX guy, right? And I said, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, I guess so. He goes, well, we need to make some BMX stuff. So I want to create a new position. You're going to be the BMX product manager, and we're going to make all kinds of stuff, and you're going to do it along with overseeing Pro Forks. And I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty cool.
All right.
So I worked there for 2 years, 2.5 years. And it got to a point where, you know, I had some conflict with, you know what, dude, when you're racing for a living, you're not getting trained how to work within a structured business. You're just a jack off. You're not everybody, but a lot of guys do not have the background to just jump right into a company and start a normal working career. Like, it's just difficult.
Yeah.
So I had conflict with some people there, myself and Scott Boyer. We didn't see eye to eye on anything. He was the vice president.
Yeah.
And everything I did got censored, and everything that had to be done a certain way. And it's like, I went to a good buddy of mine, and his name's Mike Flaherty, and he's been in the industry for a long, long time. He owned a company called Atom Lab.
Okay.
He's designed a lot of great products. He's just a great guy. So I said, Mike, I got an idea, and I need to exit where I'm at, and I have a plan, and I need your help. Whatever you charge me is fine with me. He's like, yeah, what's up? What do you want to do? I said, I've determined, there's not a nice way to say this. I've determined the crappiest bike on the market that has the most financial backing behind it, and I want to help them turn their program around. And he's like, okay, who is it? And I'm like, it's Redline. They have complete bikes that you can park on the pedal. There's not enough clearance. The uniforms are hideous, and everything about their program is hideous. Okay, it's bad.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is I want you to make like an 8-page or 12-page color concept, like little thing you can thumb through. I want you to show this frame design, these graphics, these uniforms. I want you to show the display equipment, how we're going to do everything.
Okay.
Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to call Chuck Hooper, who's the president of Seattle Bike Supply, and I'm going to tell him I'd like to show up at his office and present this to him. So
Awesome.
a week later, Mike has this. It's freaking awesome. Super nice. I go to Seattle and I sit down with Chuck Hooper. Chuck's like, oh yeah, I know your dad. I used to buy GHPs from your dad and blah, blah, blah. I hit it off with Chuck Hooper. He's a great guy. All right.
Okay.
Super nice. He made all the decisions. He was the president of Seattle Bike Supply, which owned Redline, the brand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he looks through it and he says, well, shit, when do you want to start?
Wow.
What is this going to cost me? Blah, blah, blah. The next thing I know, we're shaking hands. And I worked for the guy for 4 years. It was just a fantastic situation. And so that kind of helped me transition away. Point being is that I wasn't racing and hadn't raced for a long time. And
Yeah.
Chuck says, well, your first event is going to be, I went in 94 to the Gold Cup West Championships in Reno.
That's what it was. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
That's what it was. Yeah.
So like 2 weeks before that, I walked into Bob Arnold's office, who's the sales manager for Answer. And I said, hey, Bob, I'm out of here, dude. I'm done. And he's like, what are you talking about? You out for the week? I said, listen, dude, I can't deal with that dude down at the end of the hall. And before I do something I regret, I'm done. I'm out. See you later. It's been great. I shook his hand. I'm like, why don't you take Joey Licata, who grew up racing BMX, he's a sales guy, and put him in my seat. I'm out of here. And so I quit. And then I started with, and Hoop says, he says, hey, you're going to have all this stuff on display. You're going to be doing all this. I need you on the bike. You need to race. And I'm like, you're high. I'm not, there's no way I'm racing. It's not going to happen. And he's like,
every time you try to quit, people bring you back, bro.
this is the problem. And it's my fault because I don't know to walk away. You know what I mean? I still stay around the campfire a little bit. So now now I got to race and I got to race it. They don't have the new bike stuff yet. The bike I'm going to race, I could just literally get off of it, put the pedal towards the ground, lay it over. It'll stand up. It's got no bottom bracket clearance. Nothing, dude. It's so bad. So we had a mock-up uniform made and I signed up and I practiced, and on Saturday I was like done. I got fifth in my semi. This is how lame it was for me as a racer then. I got fifth in my semi and I came back to the pit and I told my wife, I'm like, holy shit, I got fifth in my semi. I almost made the main. And it's like, what kind of a person says that? You know what I'm saying? So the next day I'm like, hey, I think I could probably do a little better. So I basically went into the third main, tied with Gary Ellis for first, and I wound up getting second overall, and then I won the Pro Open main. And then after that, it was like, hey, that was pretty cool. And so it getting involved with the product management and learning manufacturing stuff and marketing stuff. And then at the end of at my fourth year, Hoop called me. This is right before Gort got hired as the marketing manager there. If you remember, he was at Redline. I was there for 4 years, and Chuck Hooper said, hey, he called me up and he says, I got to talk to you. And I'm like, what's up? And it was time to renegotiate it. It was probably August time,
Okay.
in 98. And he says, I want to take care of you and I want to pay you more and do more for you, but I can't. And the only way I can do more for you is if you come up and just be the brand manager, then I can give you, benefits and I can plug you in and you can be an employee. And I'm like, Hoop, you're in Seattle, dude. He's like, yeah. And I said, I got to tell you the truth, man. I love you. Like, you're like a father to me, man. But I don't know that I could move to Seattle if you offered me $500,000 a year. I don't think I could. I can't step out the door every morning into the freaking rain. I'm sorry. It rains like 250 days a year there. I can't do it. I cannot do it. So I worked with them through the end of '98, and then that was it. So yeah.
Wow. So was that it for that as far as factory teams for you, Greg? Was that the last?
Yeah,
The
like
last.
that was kind of sort of it. Like after that, it was what am I going to do? I was doing the teaching deal.
Yeah.
I did flooring for 2 years, and I learned everything that I kind of know now. And the beginning of that, and then like a total idiot, I like decided, hey, you know what? I can make parts again. I'll do GHP. And then I'm like, and then that was like in 2005, I started doing it, and we
Yeah.
started, and I did like 13 or 14 years. And then that was just it. Finally, it was done. I told my wife, I said, I'm done. She's like, yeah, sure you are. Okay, right. What's next? She's like, she doesn't hate BMX. She just hates the fact that I'm in a line of work that doesn't really, it's a line of work that you love because it's cool, because you love BMX, but
Yeah.
it's not a line of work that like has a bright business opportunity, like a working opportunity. There's not much opportunity in BMX. That's why it's everybody's favorite hobby, but nobody really excels on the business side of the fence, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense.
It's really tough. So yeah.
Greg, I'm sorry. I hope I don't bring up bad memories or whatever. But
No,
there's something that I've been. When you closed GHP the second time, I was your friend on Facebook, and you were posting some of this stuff for sale, and people were telling you, "Oh my gosh, these frames are great. These frames are fabulous," and whatever. And you were having like a going out of business, for the lack of a better term, a going out of business sale. And
yes.
I was watching these messages come on your Facebook page, and I was like, if you really love these frames so much, you should have bought it when and his company wouldn't have gone out of business. Did you have that thought?
Well, yes, is exactly your point. To your point, the thing about BMX is, and it's not a joke. It's honest truth. Is that, hey man, hook me up. That's the line. It's
Yeah.
hook me up, bro. You know, when the last straw was kind of like, there's a few layers to this. The fact that there's so many frames, some of them are not even companies. You know what I mean? Somebody had 50 frames made and they're just selling them out of the back of their car.
Yeah.
At the time we stopped doing it, there was 250 different frame companies out there. Different,
Wow.
And so I told my wife, like the year before we stopped, I said, I'm so disgusted with being I would go to a race, dude, and I would get hats made and t-shirts and bring them. Yeah, they're not high ticket items, but hats and t-shirts can pay your trip expenses. And every single person, friends of mine, would come over and be like, hey bro, hook me up. Hook me up, dude. Can I have a t-shirt? Can I have this? Can I have that? And I'm like, I'm done. I'm done with this. So I told my wife, it was probably actually 9 months before we decided to stop doing it. I said,
Yeah.
listen, I'm done now. Nobody knows this except you. We're talking right now in our house and no one knows this. Not even my partners. I'm done. We have a shipment coming in. We're going to unload it. It was 400 frames or so. We had about 50, 60 frames in stock. I said, as soon as everything gets unloaded, put in where it needs to be. I'm having Mike Flaherty used to do all our website shit. I said, I'm going to call Mike and I'm going to tell him, put the frames for sale. I forget what the price was. I think it was $150.
150 shipped because I got one.
150 shipped.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a
And
crazy deal.
people were like, you got to be kidding me. You got to be. No, I'm not kidding you. It's not a joke. $150 shipped. I think in 5 or 6 days, they were all sold. We were done. We did all the legal stuff to shut it down and I stopped doing it. I was done. And then I was like, all right, I'm teaching and I'm doing clinics where you travel to tracks. And then I'm doing like a Tuesday night at Simi Valley and a Wednesday night at Whittier Narrows where it's like $25. We'd get like 10, 15 riders, whatever. And man, I was like, all right, I'm going to teach for about a year, and I'm going to try to find a way to get out of the building, if you know what I'm saying. I
Right.
want to. The BMX building's on fire. I need to find the exit, and nobody's going to make me stay in it. Well, then I wound up, you know, there's a guy named Dale Robinson. He owns Remix, and he's a good dude. He's a good dude, man. Like we had at the end, we had some tension and stress, but he was a good guy. He brought me up to Reno to do clinics and always took care of me. Super nice man, nice kids. I don't know if you guys know him or not, but
No.
we
They
wound
did
up.
those were the high end wheels, right? The remix wheels.
Yeah.
Were they?
Well,
Yeah.
Mike from Atom Lab designed the Remix line and created it. And then he was just like, he didn't have the finances part to make it happen. And Dale said, hey, I really like to buy this. Can you make this work? And so I'm like, yeah, I'll put you guys together. And then it was like the same deal as Proforce. Like, so Dale says, all right, I talked to Mike. I got it all hashed out, the price, to figure it out. Hey, you guys go on a date. Have a good time. I'm out of here. And Dale's like, wait a minute, hold up. This will only work if you work for me. I need you to be the guy at the track out there with me. And I'm like, I can only do this if give me 2 years. And then you have to know that like I'm not getting any younger, so I got to find something, but I'll teach and I'll do the remix gig. After like 11 months, finances got tight. I was at a race. I was at an ABA national
Mm-hmm.
in Lemoore, California. I don't know exactly what year it was. It might have been 16 or whatever. A guy that I knew, he's a good buddy of mine now, named Jim Garrett. He actually is NAG 1 in the oldest cruiser class. He passed Eric in the last turn at the Grands this year. He's a roofing contractor. So we're talking at Lemoore, and there's only 165 motos at Lemoore. There used to be like 300 motos there. There's
Yeah.
165 motos. We're talking, and he starts talking about roofing and waterproofing, and I start talking about waterproofing. And he goes, "You know about waterproofing?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, dude, I know all about this shit." So he says, "Can we go over here and talk?" So we go like 50 yards away. There's nobody around. And
Yeah.
Jim looks at me, and Jim and I are weird acquaintances. And he looks at me and he says, "Hey, can I ask you a question? I just need to be real right now." I'm like, "Yeah, please." He goes, "What the F are you doing here? Why are you here?" I'm like, I'm like, man, because I'm stupid. I don't know. Because I do love the sport.
Yeah.
But he goes, "Look, I do roofing. A lot of people want their decking done. They want waterproofing done. I flip this one guy jobs. I give him $100,000 worth of work a year. I'm going to flip that to you. You work under my license and get out of this shit." I'm like, "Deal." So that kind of all went down at the same time that I was leaving Remix.
Got it.
And I worked under Jim's license for like a year or so. And then I just went and took my test and passed and got my contractor's license and started focusing in on epoxy. This is unbelievable. I'll just tell this and this will be the last. We can do the book thing. Dude, I finally get out of the building and I'm doing my thing. And I got my first meeting. I had a meeting with a company called Duraflex. It was an outside rep. And I said, "Look, here's my experience. I want to kill it in this thing. I'll buy from your company exclusively if you give me some leads." He gives me leads. I go to Long Beach. I give this guy a bid on his garage. He signs it. We schedule the date. I come and I show up. I have a buddy of mine that's there to help me. He's in construction. He knows stuff. So he's unloading. The homeowner comes out. Dude was probably my age. He says, "Hey, Greg, do you got a minute?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure. What's up?" And he goes, "Hey, I just got to ask you a question." He goes, "Are you the same Greg Hill that was in BMX?" And I'm like, "Oh God, come on. I'm trying to get away from this crap. Okay."
You can't, man.
And this is my very, very first job, dude, that I did, a first garage floor I did. The guy says, "Oh my God, I can't believe this. Man, I had a chrome GT with blue forks. I got that bike because it's the same bike you had," and blah, blah, blah. And we sat there and talked for like 20 minutes. And I was like, I can't get away from this shit. It won't go away. Like I gotta rip the rear view mirror off and throw it out the window or something.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
but in hindsight, it was funny. I take it as you can't you can't walk away from your past, and I never was wanting to. I just wanted a little bit of space to
yeah,
reinvent myself, to get onto something new. I still love BMX. It was like it gave me everything I have.
yeah, yeah.
And when I say everything I have, I wouldn't have my wife right now if it wasn't for BMX.
Yep.
My
Hmm.
the way I think and tick and what I am inside my whole who I am, I got from BMX. So I love BMX. I don't,
I got
you
one
know,
more question. I'm sorry, Greg.
yeah.
Where's the most? What's the most interesting place that you put an epoxy floor? Have you put like in the kitchen inside the house, or is it always in the garage?
You know what? It's 99% of the time it's in the garage, but the most I've got a gentleman. He's about I don't know. He's about an hour north of me. He's a contractor. He bought this house. It's his house, and he says, "Hey, I want you to come do the inside of my house." And I'm like, "Well, how much? What do you mean? What's the size of it?" And he goes, "Come look at it." So like it's like the bottom. It's a 2-story house. The bottom level, I it's like 1,200 square feet, and I did that. I didn't do anything on the second floor. I did 900 square feet, his dining room, living room, kitchen, all that area. And then I did his den a different color. And then he wants me to do his garage. And then he's got a front porch area that must be 800 square feet. It's massive. And he wants me to
Wow.
do that. So, but doing the inside of a house, it's a little different because when you're in a garage, you kind of want it to not be super smooth. You want to have a little bit of non-slip.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But when you're walking around in your socks in your living room, you don't want your socks to catch on the floor, so it has to be
yeah.
super smooth. But yeah, the very craziest job I ever had, this guy called me up and I did jobs for him before, and he says, "Hey, listen, this I know is going to be not something you want to do, but I have a step that goes from outside to inside the garage. It's literally 2 feet wide, 2 feet wide and 1 feet in depth,
Yeah.
and there's two steps." And he goes, and he's in Ventura County, which is like an hour and 20 minutes from me. He's like, "I need you to come do it." And he goes, I said, "Look, dude, just to mobilize and just for me to get in my van and drive out, you're a contractor, you get it." He goes, "No, I understand." I had to charge him $800, and I used like not even 2 quarts of material. But compare this to BMX. It wasn't, "Come on, dude, you can do it. That won't cost you much. It's not much material, blah, blah, blah." These people don't understand in BMX that you have insurance, you've got overhead, you get in the van to drive somewhere and you get an fender bender, you're liable. You now have, all you can acquire some expenses that you didn't plan on. But in BMX, it doesn't matter because it's just, "Dude, just hook me up, man. Just
Yeah.
hook
Yeah.
me up. Your frames are made, your frames are made overseas, so it's way cheaper. You're making money." And I'm like, I'm tired of hearing this. I'm so
Yeah.
done. I can't
Yeah.
do it anymore.
Really, dude. I can really
No more. This is crazy.
They asked, Kevin asked one time, he goes, we forgot to ask Greg. And I go, what's that? He goes, what do people do with all the crap that's in their garage when you show up?
Yes, I forgot.
Yeah, well, what's good is like probably 35% of my customers have just closed escrow and they have a move date, and I squeak it in there and get it done before they get in. But then some of them I just did one on last Friday, and they just move all their stuff into the backyard. They put some tarps on it, and it's a pain. It's like it's probably a lot of reason why a lot of people don't do it. But then again, a lot of people are doing it. So it's just that when people do a remodel and they drywall the garage and they paint it and they get cabinets put in and they got all this nice stuff, and then they have cracked oil stained concrete that looks like crap.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, it's like sitting in your living room and you don't have floors, but everything else looks pretty good. It's
Yeah.
you got to finish it. So yeah, but a lot they just put it out. Sometimes people have them small pods and they rent them for 3 or 4 days and they
Yeah.
just put whatever's in their garage inside the pod and I just show up, get it done, and 2 days later they're unloading and putting all their stuff back, you know?
Cool, dude. Cool, man.
Yeah, we both were wondering. I'm like, yeah, what do they do? I mean, my garage is not too cluttered, but it's still going to take a lot of work to get
Right.
the tools out,
I mean,
the shelves out, the cars out, you know. all
my
that crap.
my garage isn't done. I can't. I have so much crap. We have like 7 floors on our property, but our garage isn't done. We have we have we have too many bikes. We have too much crap. It's like, where are we going to put it? You know, it's a pain. I get it.
Isn't that like a inside joke with the construction industry where
Yes.
contractors go and they make these multi-million-dollar homes, but their houses look like shit?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is, because it's like, yo, I'm a roofer, and but my roof has a leak in it, and it's been leaking for 6 months. But I got to go do somebody else's roof. You know, it's like
Yeah,
you're not wanting. Like I have a patio, and my patio is 600 square feet, and
Right.
it's got 3 spots on it that need to be addressed, and I haven't done it. And I told my wife, I said, I'm going to get on this. She goes, yeah, not anytime soon. Don't worry about it. I'm like, okay, cool. I feel a little bit guilty, but you know, it's got to get handled. But yeah, it is. It's like you don't want to be at work all day and then come home and do the same thing that you just got done doing all day. Because
Yeah.
I tell my wife, I'm like, you know what? I don't mind going to work because I'm getting paid to do this, but I got to go fix the patio. No one's paying me to do that. I'm working for free. It's but, it's all good.
All right.
It's cool.
Okay. No more. So okay, let's talk books, man.
All right.
Books. Books. What do we got?
Okay, so this book right here, Greg, I think, was this 2009 that you created this book? Do you remember the
I
year?
believe so. I believe it was. It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we know the significance of this photo because I recorded your conversation and I shared it for everybody. And obviously, this is your favorite photo because it's also on the back side.
Yeah, and that is from the same race. It's just a different place.
Angle, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so we know this one is significant. If you want to recap that, Greg, you can.
I mean, I'll give you the lowdown on the book and
Yeah.
and why I did it, which will be quick, and then I'll tell you about that photo. The whole
Okay.
thing was that it's like having people ask me, like people will a lot of I think a lot of times people think that BMX market is way bigger than it really is. They're
Right.
like, you need to do a book. You need to do a book. So it's like, all right, I looked into it. We did it as cheap as we could. I think we had to buy like 300 or something, and then we might have only sold 300. There's not a whole lot of market. I mean, you don't have people beating your door down to buy the book. So it's like, it's not like
Yeah.
you're going to sell 5,000 copies of it. It's really, a fun thing to do, but there's not a lot of money in it. And the whole concept was just to be like, hey, I know that everybody has grown up looking at the magazines and seeing the pictures and seeing the caption of the picture, but no one ever talks about the backstory of that photo. So
Right.
my idea was like, let's do whatever it's called, My Life in Pictures. Let's just do and pick like some pictures that are important, and then talk about why it's important and what does that picture mean? Like, what's
Right.
behind that picture? So that photo that you had just showed and asked about is significant because
This one.
it's yeah. I mean, that's the third main at the ESPN finals in '83 at Griffith Park, and I won that, and it was the finals, so I won the title and the race, and there's just a lot to that picture. There's a lot of stuff that's behind that photo, like a whole month of preparing for the race, no other races, didn't go to any other races, just spent the whole month working, and then go to the race, and fortunately Oz took the photo, or one of his people did, and yeah, it was,
It's a bitchin' picture. I'll tell you that.
This photo here, Greg, it's like wait a minute, I just looked at it just now. So the gentleman that can you tell me a little bit about this gentleman right here, Tony Donaldson?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Tony Donaldson is a super cool dude. So I met Tony years ago. He used to work for High Torque Publications, which owned BMX Plus.
Okay.
So Roland Hines is a guy that owned High Torque Publications, and Tony was a photographer, professional photographer, journalist. Okay.
Okay.
He would write and he would do photos, and I became super good friends with the guy. And even to this day, like he's come. I have a son. One of my sons, his name's Lauren. When he was in high school, he was playing football. He was a senior. They were in the CIF championships, and Tony. I asked Tony. I said, "Look, I'll pay whatever it costs. Just can you come out? This dude is going to play his last game, and he's done for life.
Yeah.
I want some good photos, you know." So he came out to it, and he's just done a lot of cool stuff for me. I can call Tony right now when we're done here and say, "Hey, man, I really need to talk," and we could be on the phone for 2 hours. He's just a super cool dude. He matters to me, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
I want him to write that little bit that he wrote there because of who he is, you know?
Very cool.
Yeah, I saw that and I go, okay, we got to ask about that because it looks like the book's almost dedicated to him in a sense when you look at the opening on there.
Well, he knows BMX and freestyle, and he loves rad. So I always like to give him a hard time and say, "Yo, that movie sucks." He has,
That's the
he
guy.
has
All right.
dude has rad parties, bro. He'll have like 10 of his buddies, and they'll just sit there and eat pizza and watch the. Oh my goodness, I don't know how to do it, but whatever
All right.
works for him. It's all good.
All right, Greg, page 1. Now these photos are obviously a little grainy, but
Okay.
you look like you're in the neighborhood doing some wheelies right here. So what do you got going on here?
That's my sidewalk in front of my house, and that's my street. I'm 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I just that's like the begin. I mean, it's not the very beginning because I started riding a bike when I was like almost 4.
Yeah.
But it was like when you fall in love with the bike, and it's like, you know, before you know about girls, you know about bikes, and my bike was my girl. It was like when I'm awake, I'm looking for my bike, and it was every day on the bike. So that was just being silly, and I think my sister took photos of me doing that. It was just had to be in the book because you want to show the beginning, you know.
Right. And I like it. I like it because we all started
Just,
the same. Go
you know,
ahead. Go ahead.
I got a question.
Yes, sir.
Throughout the years, have any of the guys that you rode with when you were 10, 11, 12 years old, whatever, around the neighborhood, have they actually contacted you or gotten back in touch with you? Have you had any kind of reunions, anything like that? Or have all your friends from that time just drifted away out of the sport?
Yeah, there's one guy that I went to school with. His name is Jim Holt. He moved to Idaho. We used to ride in the early days around the neighborhoods and the fields and stuff. So we're friends. I haven't seen him for a long time. And there's another guy named Patrick, and we used to. This guy reached out to me on Instagram a while, like 5-6 years ago, and he says, "Hey, Greg, I don't know if you remember me, man, but we used to ride at this park down the street," and he was naming off all these things, and I'm like, "Dude, I fully know this guy." And so still haven't seen him, but talked to him a lot. And I follow him on Instagram and he follows me, but really there's not a lot because I wasn't, I really didn't know how to deal with people when I was younger. I didn't know how to communicate properly. I was hyperactive and always getting in trouble. So I didn't sit still long enough to acquire friendships. I just rode my bike.
Did you have a little bit of social anxiety, Greg, because of your lack of communication skills?
Yeah, I basically had a tough time I had a very hard time just meeting people and starting up conversations and trying to find some common ground,
Mm-hmm.
and to create friendships because when I was because I was hyperactive, I didn't sit still, and so I would get in trouble, get sent to the principal's office. Then I got the school told my parents, look, we can't, he needs to be in a smaller class student room, right? So I go to a doctor and get tested. Oh yeah, he's ADHD, hyperactive, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Same with me.
so now I'm the guy who's stupid, who's like 13 years old in a class with 10-year-olds. I'm like in a senior in high school and I'm in ninth grade English.
Yeah.
Not because I can't understand English and the grammar and the learning. It's because I don't give a shit. I don't care. The
Yeah.
teacher isn't able to make me care. And I just didn't care. I just says, when is the bell going to ring and when can I get on my bike? Well, then when you're in 10th grade and you're in a ninth grade, you're 11th grade, you're in a ninth grade, then the bell rings, you get out of class. Then you got these guys who are like, oh, hey, look at this guy. He's an idiot. He's with the ninth graders. And then the next thing you know, instead of going to your car, you're in the hallway punching somebody. And then you're at the office and the parents are getting called. It's just like really difficult to find and make good friends because there was so many cliques. You know what I mean?
And what's strange is like from the outside, for like guys like Kevin and I are only reading about you in a magazine. So we don't understand your backstory. All we see is the dude that's dominating. We didn't know all the stuff you're telling us, which is super interesting.
Danny, I know I've told you stories, Danny. I can relate a lot to what Greg said. I was the same way. I was a senior in high school, and my little brother was a sophomore, and we were in the same math class. We sat right next to each other. He got an A, I got an F.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I could totally relate to what he's saying. I didn't go to school. I didn't care. I ditched. I rode my bike. I didn't graduate from high school. So
This
that's
is
your extreme, Greg, but I can understand where you're coming from.
no, I don't even know. I don't even know how I graduated, man. I never did any homework and I just did the tests and I got A's on my test, but didn't turn homework in. So I would fly by with like a D plus in a lot of classes and I didn't care.
Yeah.
It's like, I didn't care. And I didn't have, it's my fault. But as a young person, I didn't have anybody pull me aside. My parents didn't pull me aside and sit down and say, hey, we need to find a way to make this fun. You got to learn because here's why. And, the world works like this. It was just like nothing like that, man.
Were
It
you
was
a
just,
latchkey kid back then?
what's that?
Were you is latchkey, was that a term back then? Are you considered a latchkey kid?
No, because my mom was always home.
Okay, all right.
So I would come home and she was there. And so it wasn't like they were both at work. Like today, there's latchkey kids and has been for years.
Yeah.
But back then, my mom was home, my dad worked, and it was just different, Like there wasn't like I'm trying to make sure that my kids, my youngest is 29 now. So, but as they were growing, I'm trying to make sure that they understand the lay of the land, man. I'm trying to tell them like, here's the deal in life. I don't know everything, but this is some things you got to think about. Let me help you with this. Make sure you always know that you can come talk to me and I'll listen. I don't have to talk. Just know that you can come talk to me. We can always fix stuff. We can always make something work and you got to have a plan. And I never really, God rest my parents and all, but I never had that. My oldest sister, Tanya, she's the one that brought me to the track to begin with. But before that happened, there wasn't a lot of involvement with her because basically she's like 7 years older than me or 6 years older than me, something like that. So, when you're 10 and your sister's 16, I have a lot of grandkids. So my one son has 3 kids. His oldest is 20, and then there's an 18-year-old, and then there's like a 15-year-old. Well, the 20-year-old don't really want to deal with the 15-year-old. If you know what I mean, they're in a they're in different universes, totally. And
Yeah.
so that's the same thing. So really, what's the one thing that won't argue with you, that will never give you, and like what's the one thing you can have fun with that doesn't talk back? The thing hanging behind you, your bike. You can ride it, and you might get a flat, but you'll fix it. You're gonna always have a good time. But that was the go-to. So it was just always about go to the bike, go ride, and then you gravitate and you wind up around like kids. Like we were all probably from the same kind of mold, right? We weren't. So there wasn't really a whole lot of. When I turned pro, people ask me, how come why'd you do so good when you turned pro? I was 14 years old. I was getting picked on every day. I turned pro at 14. I have some dude. I never forget. I think it was Kevin McNeil, man. The guy was like 17 years old, 6'1". I'm like 14, 125 pounds. Dude runs me off the track, runs me off the track. And all I know is that, dude, if you jack me, I'm jacking you. I don't give a shit how old you are. It doesn't matter to me. Getting punched in the face, I don't really care. So I went up to him and like almost knocked him off his bike. And he's like, well, what are you doing? Like, as if I'm some kid. I'm like, dude, if you ever run me off the track again or you ever hit me again, I'm going to fully beat your ass right here in front of the world. And he's like, you're crazy. But that was how I grew up, And I never had a parent that ever tried to keep me from that. And when it got a little bit older, and then if I didn't take that approach, my dad was like, hey, if that guy rides you off the track again, you better be over there beating his ass. Okay. So that's basically what I was dealing with.
Greg, dude, back when you were growing up and you were riding around the neighborhood, dude, was there any guys were you always the best guy on the bike, or were there guys that you rode with that were better than you, that kind of challenged you to ride harder?
I was always the younger part of the group. If there was like 10 guys rolling through the neighborhood, I was always rolling with guys that were 2, 3, 4 years older than me. So I was one of the younger guys, and I think they either tolerated me but they allowed me to be part of the group. And we would just go ride all over everywhere there was dirt, we would go ride. These guys would build jumps, I would help, and we would ride. So I feel like I was never one of the main guys on the early day when I was like 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I'm talking like 8 years old and going on rides and being like 5 miles away from home with no cell phone, with nothing, just like you guys. And it's like, well, just come home when the street lights are on. And it's like, oh, okay, that's a good deal,
Absolutely, dude. Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah.
All right, man. I got way off track because I love talking to Greg, but look at these images, Greg. Now, this photo, I'm going to try not to laugh.
So good. You can laugh as much as you want. Oh,
let's go. What's going on?
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
So that's pedal. Okay, so that's man. That's early days WSA Pedals Ready Pro Shop. What's going on in that photo right there? Aside from the fact that it's total dorkness, is that my sister took me to the track because my mom and dad did not have time to take me. For whatever reason, the first month or so, they didn't come out there. But then they started coming out there. And so after they started coming out there, then I remember being with my dad and going and visiting Gary Turner, and we were in Gary's garage, and Gary was making frames, and my dad's like, yeah, we want to sell your frames in the pro shop. I'm the partner that my dad wasn't able to come see me because he didn't have time. The next thing I know, he's partners with the guy who runs the track. So now he's got GTs in the pro shop. He's selling them. They made a small team, which was like the jersey you saw. That Dennis Dane rode for, I rode for him and stuff. My mom was scoring races. My dad was running the pro shop. My uncle was announcing. And so that was like the very early part.
Even since early days. And this one here is interesting because it's almost like you have a football helmet kind of guard on your face there.
You had to bring that. You had to show that. Unbelievable, dude. My dad wanted me to be safe, so he's mounted a football guard on my helmet, which like a lot of people did back then. But then as you get older,
Yeah.
everybody gives you a hard time about it. But you look through some old magazines and see old pictures. There's a lot of people that are rolling with that. It's kind of lame.
It's not-
But,
I'm going to say it's not the first time I
I have a question. Greg, I heard a story about the guy that your dad's partner was the guy that started Upper Deck Sports Cards. Is that true?
Bill Hemrick, yes, sir. Yeah.
That is 100% true. He started
Yes.
Upper Deck.
Wow.
He started Upper Deck. The guy, now this is just me secondhand knowing from my dad.
Okay.
I know that a lot of people didn't like the guy for whatever reason. His name was Bill Hemrick, and everybody called him Bill Hemorrhoid, okay, because they didn't like him. And towards the end of my dad's involvement with the track, he wasn't involved that long. I asked my dad later in life, I'm like, what was going on? Like all of a sudden, Bill Hemrick was just not around. He says, I had to pay him extra money to stay away from the track because we didn't need him to be there, and he just rubbed people the wrong way. And so, yeah,
He owned the batting cages that were there.
he owned the batting cages, and he did that Upper Deck deal. I don't know how well he did, but yeah, he was the guy that when
That's
you know,
awesome.
he was running the track, and he was the batting cages and the snack bar up front. Now that was all his gig, you know.
Yeah.
Wow. Now this next picture, Greg, I don't know which rider you are in this one, so maybe you can help me a little bit.
Okay.
It's a cool race photo, but I can't figure out who's who.
Wow, dude. Okay, so this is tough, man. This is tough, and my glasses are missing in action. So I want to say that. Well, I know that there's a guy in there named Jeff Hudson, and I think he's the one on the far left, back a little bit.
Okay.
I want to say, do you know anybody in that photo at all? 212 would be a guy named Tommy Abbott. And then on the right, it's very dark. I can't really make out. I don't even know who that is, if it's me or not. What's the number of the guy on the right on the inside?
Let's take a look. 139.
That's me. So
Yeah,
that's
that
me.
is you. It says it was the track out back. That's me.
That's
number
WSA.
139. Yeah, that's you.
that's Western Sportsrama.
That's such a cool photo. And you know, Greg, you're not the biggest rider in here. I mean, if you look where you're at, sized up to the guy in first.
I mean, I think it's Tommy Abbott, or it might be Denny David out. I can't tell. I'd have to look.
Oh, okay. So 212 is Tommy Abbott.
It is Tommy Abbott. That's
Yeah.
I'm positive it is.
Yeah, the
Yeah, I
number
mean, like, when
45.
when I was 14 years old, I weighed 120 pounds, and I'm not 14 there. I'm like 10 or 11 there, you know?
Wow. Now,
So-
this one here, Greg, I love this one. And this is the beginning of BMX Plus. This looks like a cover from November 1978. This photo
Wow.
is bad. Are you ready?
Yes. Yeah, that's the very, very first BMX Plus issue right there. We were at a race in Northern California. It was the Centurion Grand Prix, and it was like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
And the guy, his name was Jim Stevens. He worked for Oz. You know, he worked at BMX Action.
Yeah.
And he broke away to do his own deal. And so he started the magazine, and I don't know how it worked out, but you know what happened is here's probably what happened is he started a new magazine, and he
Right.
wanted advertising dollars, and I had the right uniform on, and I just got lucky enough that he took my photo because he wanted money from Redline. I'm sure of it. That's really the bottom line.
It's a cool shot, though, needless to
But
say.
the picture's cool. Yeah, it's cool. And that's a Redline micro line. That thing's super small frame, man.
There is like a mattress tied to a telephone pole.
Those
I mean, look at that.
those
If you
so
look close-
that
Yeah,
that is in a place called Grass Valley, California, with redwood trees and the track going all in throughout the trees.
Oh, so that's
So-
actually a tree.
Yes, it's a massive tree. If you don't have a mattress on that tree and you crash into that tree, you're screwed. You're probably screwed anyways, but if there's a mattress on there, it's a little better, you know?
At least
It's
take
like
off somebody.
it's like smashing your knee on the gooseneck with the pad. Can you really tell the difference? Like,
No, it still
you know what I
hurts.
mean? Right? It's the same shit.
So this is a great shot. 13 years old, SE Racing. This one's a pretty cool shot, and it looks like you were 13 expert, and I think you won the trophy dash or something like that in this shot.
Yeah, that's at Bakersfield. So I didn't win the trophy dash there because what it was is I won 13 expert. That's Dirk Davidow behind me, and that dude was fast, man. Him and his brother Denny. Denny was older, but it was an NBA national. So at the NBA national, 13 was the youngest age. You raced the 13, the 14, the 15, 16 expert, the pro, and some of that for the trophy dash at the end of the day, right?
Okay.
Well, there's another photo. I don't know if it's in that or not, but there's a photo of the actual trophy dash main event.
There's like an award thing here.
Well, that's a different race. That's not the same race.
Okay.
That's I'm on Schwinn right there.
Okay.
That's a whole nother deal. That was like a year later. But there's a picture of that race of the trophy dash where I'm going into the first turn, same bike, same race, and I'm like half a wheel ahead of Stu. And I come out of the first turn and I'm in first. And I move over and I slow up and let everybody go by because I don't know why I did that. Stewart and Brent Patterson were battling for the NBA #1 plate. And the trophy dash was 400 points, 200 per second. And it was like a big deal. And it's like, for whatever reason, I'm like, I kind of don't need to I need to just move over. And that's what I did.
Wow.
I could not even tell you why I did that. I should have just tried to go win. But the next year at 14, I won my first trophy dash, and nobody ever won one at 14 years of age. And
So
that's what that photo.
That's the Schwinn one then, right?
That's the Schwinn one. That's my mom in the photo. That's at Escape Country in Southern California, and that's the trophy dash. I beat Perry Kramer. I'm 14 years old, 125 pounds, passed Perry Kramer 10 feet before the finish line and won it.
That has to be just as great as any pro win you've ever had then, wouldn't you think?
I mean, that was like, I think that was probably one of the greatest wins that I ever had because I made the trophy dash. I was the youngest guy, didn't have any expectations, went into the first turn in second behind Brian Lewis. I dove on the inside, cut him off coming out of the turn, was winning down the second straight going, this is badass. And then Perry Kramer passes me and I'm like, hey, this is still cool because I could get second. I'm 14 years old is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then I don't know what happened. I just know that the last half of the track, I just raced hard and I passed him and it was great. So,
man, I could tell this is a good moment for you and your mom. I mean, look at the way she's staring at you right here.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. There's people in that photo that I know that it's amazing. Yeah, that's like right at the finish line, like right after the race.
That is freaking awesome.
Do you have any were either of your parents into capturing this stuff on film? I mean, that'd be crazy if you had like old Super
movie.
Yeah, I don't have like any film stuff, but I have some. But what my mom did is and I didn't know that she did this, but she's passed like 32 years ago. One of them deals that takes about 18 months she had cancer, right? So at a point during that, she had me come over and we sat at the table and she brought out these 3 big, huge scrapbooks. They're like probably 1.5 inches thick, 3 of them. And in those, she says, I want you and your family to have these. And it's when you would win money, they would give you an envelope and it would have the date and the race and the amount. Every time I won money, she kept the envelope. It was I got them all. And every ad that I was in and every picture in the magazine, everything. I used to get there's letters from like Lynn Caston when he would write a letter at the end of the season saying how, just congratulations, this and that, and he would kept that. Man, she gave me 3 full scrapbooks and they're just filled with everything. It's really cool. Really cool.
How precious must
That's
how
amazing.
precious must that be, man? That would
Yeah,
be, man.
it's like kind of like priceless situation. I have them all in a stored away and stuff, but it's like you can go through there and you can grab you can see she's taped the envelopes on. You'll turn the page and there'll be an envelope and it'll say like 1982 NBL War of the Stars, something Illinois, first place, $900 or $800, whatever. And she got it all in there. So it's cool.
Holy moly.
Would any of that stuff ever make it to the Hall of Fame, or is it too precious to you?
I wouldn't give it to them simply. I don't want to bag on nobody right now. I have a really not a good relationship with the whole.
Okay. My bad. I'm sorry.
I never like when just I'll leave it at this. When ABA bought NBL out, they took a U-Haul to the NBL offices and brought all their stuff back. They acquired all the NBL stuff. Okay.
Right.
A couple of years before that took place, I got put into the NBL Hall of Fame, and there's a plaque. I never got it. They never gave it to me. Gork says, man, it's in this room, but we haven't had time to go look. And I was like, literally, hey, I'll drive 6 hours there. Let me walk into the room and look for it. If it takes me all day, I'll find it. I'll turn around and drive home. And they would never let me do that. So yeah, I wouldn't give them anything. I have given only one thing to them, and that's a jersey. And I won't ever go there, and I'll never give them anything. And my BMX memories are great not having any of those people in it. And
Well, I had no idea, Greg. I wouldn't have asked that question, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're totally cool with that. Like it's fine. How you gonna know?
Yeah.
Man, that would be something.
Yeah, the thing that your mom put.
I would treasure that till the day I died, man. If I had something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna hand them over to my kids, and my son Jeremy, he's my youngest, and my youngest son Jeremy, he's 29. He lives out in our back house with his family, and he loves BMX, like to the point where just 2 days ago he sends me this. He goes on Marketplace, all right, and he sends me links. He found a GHP cruiser. It's 20. It's spelled TWENTY with the number 4. We made 100 of them. He found this bike and he sends it to me. And he's like, hey, what do you think? And I'm like, yeah, because we need another bike, right? And so anyways, the guy wanted $200 for the bike.
Oh my God.
But the cranks and the pedals are worth $200. So I reached out to the guy today and I drove and bought it and had it sitting on the patio, and he pulled in today and he got out and he's like, no way. And I'm like, yeah, there it is. I said, it's our bike. It's the property's bike. It's not, don't take parts off it. But he loves this shit. So I want to give him, and I have, other kids. I want that to be for them. I don't want it to be like, I don't want it to be where they got to ask somebody, hey, my dad's gone now and we'd really like to have this. And I don't want to give them to get the same answer. Well, it's in a room somewhere and we can't find it, blah, blah, blah. They'll never have to deal with that.
Right. Did the guy know or care who you were? Or he just wanted the money?
He was like, I met him and it was kind of raining. So I got the bike. He pulled it out. I threw it in the van. I gave him the money. And then I said, hey, do you know the backstory on this shit? And he's like, no, what's up? And I'm like, well, hey, my name's Greg. How you doing? I'm the G in GHP. He's like, no way. And I'm like, yeah. So I want to make sure I paid him first,
Yeah, dude, we get the bike first.
Let me load this baby into the van first, and then we can talk.
Yeah. Okay.
But it's cool. Yeah, so it's all good.
This stupid computer. Okay, I'm back, guys. Sorry about that.
All good.
All right. Okay, so we're moving on. You're still 14. This is a great shot because it looks like you're on. It looks like it's obviously a Schwinn Sting with Moto Mags. So this is kind of unique. Take a look at this one.
Yeah, that we were. I think we were on in '78. We went on like a Schwinn summer tour.
Yeah.
And they had all kind of parts and stuff, and we just threw mags on for jumping and raced local races and stuff. We're probably just at a track, just having fun. It was like me, Eric Roop, Robbie Roop, Mark Pippin, Kevin Jackson. It was cool. It was really like it was really cool.
That team sounds kind of stacked. That Schwinn team that you were on.
I have these two experiences where in '77 I went on tour with Scott Bridehop in an old school bus with Stu, Scott, Perry, Utterback, like all these dudes. The van's breaking down every other day, literally every other day, man. And then the next year we go on tour and it's me, Eric Roop, Robbie Roop, Kevin Jackson, a few others. Dude, we're staying at hotels, we're eating at good restaurants. It was like two extreme situations, man.
Yeah. This portion of the book it's called Stu, Greg, and Brent. So
Yeah.
So this one's pretty awesome because these are photos that I don't remember seeing.
Right. That's a photo. I don't even have to see it. That's a photo. What? Yeah. Okay, I see it. Yeah. That kind of message, I'd have to really think hard about it. But the whole thing about Stu, Brent, and me is that that picture right there is in Craigmere, New Jersey.
Yeah.
And we're coming across the line, and you don't think about this when you're 14 years old, but later in life, I look at it and I'm like, I'm racing two grown men right there.
Yeah.
And like those guys are very well established in the sport, and I'm holding my own against them, and I'm pretty proud about it. It's a pretty proud situation. That's why I put it in there.
Now, this next photo, Greg, you're 15 years old now.
Yeah.
And now you're on Redline. So
Yeah.
clearly you're racing pro, I think, in this shot.
Absolutely.
This is my favorite photo in the book.
This is probably one of my favorite all-time photos. I know which one it is. It's one of my favorites, dude. Yeah, that's at Corona Downhill. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm talking like you can look at every single guy in that photo. You got Stu Thompson, he's the number one NBA guy. You got Kevin McNeil, and he hasn't lost a race at Corona. I think the guy went undefeated at Corona for like 3 or 4 years. Like, seriously.
Wow.
You got Brent Patterson, you got Anthony Sewell, you got Scott, who else? I don't know. There's guys in there that are just Brian Cornell in the back. Brian Cornell, not a lot of people knew him, but he was kind of an NBA guy from the Valley, and he rode for Mongoose, and he was damn good,
Yeah.
It's a photo. My good buddy Tommy Yaley from Northern California took that photo. He had it put into a glass little thing, and it's got like a frame thing, and he's like, "This is my favorite picture of you," and he had it sent to me. It's just a cool photo because it's like I'm 15 years old.
Yeah,
and I'm racing these guys that are like
juggernauts behind you. I mean, these are like big dudes.
Like you're 15 and you're riding like you just stole some shit because these dudes are coming, and you're like, you're not racing these guys. You're acting as if you're like you just broke the law and you're trying to get away. You know what I mean?
I love that photo, man. Now you're jumping kind of further ahead here. You're clearly older. It looks like it's. Is this your dad with you doing gates in the front of the house?
Yeah, that's a regular sheet of plywood with chicken wire stapled to the so your tires don't spin.
Right.
With a 2x8 with hinges and an axe handle. And if you look past him and I, that's our house, our front window or door or some shit. He would get home from work, and you can see there's a lot of safety equipment I'm wearing. That's really smart. But he would get home from work, and he would just drop gates. We'd do 50, 60 gates. Riders ready, pedals ready, go, boom. And just first, second, third crank, out the driveway, make a left, go around the mailbox, and come back.
Wow.
Every day we would do that stuff.
Hey, did your dad ever get on a bike for like a Father's Day race or like that on a track, or was he strictly?
He didn't get on it. He didn't do. We went to some early on. They had some Father's Day races, and dudes were getting jacked up. I mean, dudes were breaking shit. And they had a Mother's Day race, and the lady had to get carted off in an ambulance. So it's like they were like, "Yeah, we ain't doing this shit," you know? Like, no way.
They had a lot of Mother's Day race at Corona, I believe, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. And I mean, dude, it's cool until it's not. I mean, you see a mom or a dad hop on a bike because riding a bike is easy. It's just you'll figure it out. You roll a pedal, and you're kissing the ground, dude. Teeth are coming out. It's people getting jacked up. I don't know. I wouldn't. They didn't want to do that.
So these shots here, Greg. Now I can see some Kellogg stuff in here. These are all basically gate start shots, which are really, really awesome.
Yeah. I mean, those are just some, like, a lot of the photos in the magazine, in that book, are kind of like personal and mean something, and then some of them are just like random pictures of just being on the gate and stuff.
Did you break your foot on that weird gate at the Kellogg's race? I think I read something about that.
We went to the Kellogg's race, okay, and it's in the UK and England, which it rains all the time.
Yeah.
And we had like 7 races in like 8 days. We're racing every day, basically. And the very first race, the starting gate was, it's so stupid. The starting gate was 2-inch pipe. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it looks like in this photo.
There's nothing to put your wheel on. There's no grid. There's nothing. So it's super slippery. And what happened is, my tire, just before we went, my front tire kind of like slipped and moved this way. I put my foot down just before the gate dropped. The gate then dropped and broke my big toe. I mean, I didn't get it x-rayed, but when your toe's broken. It was non-functional and hurt like shit. And I think I won one race, and for the rest of the deal, I got motoed every time, because every single time you're trying to pedal, you're trying to balance. My toe is so jacked that it was horrible, man.
This is a great shot of you going over some doubles.
Not a great experience.
I can't tell this. No, this is a 20. It's just kind of a strange shot because the colors are kind of weird for GT. They're really light yellow. Do you see that?
That's GT 1982. It's the angle of the photo. That's the pro main event at the NBA Grand Nationals in Long Beach in 1981.
Wow.
And it's a pretty long track, and I won every moto at that race. It was pretty cool.
Every moto, dude.
There you go, man. Now in this race, on this picture, you're racing Cruiser with Kevin's favorite race number.
Yes.
Yeah, buddy.
So that photo was taken in Lancaster, California, at ABA National. 2 weeks before the race, Richard Long, you know who Richard Long is, yeah?
Yeah, we talked about that.
Richard Long said, I think I told you guys this deal. He wanted me to race Cruiser. Did I tell you this in the last one or no?
No.
He wanted me to, he says, listen, we can't let CW win the team trophy in Lancaster. And Clarence is going to win because he won all the time.
Right.
So I need you to ride a Cruiser. And I'm like, I don't want to ride a Cruiser, man. He's like, you're going to ride a Cruiser. So I went down and I put a Cruiser together, threw the number 69 on there, raced my motos, made the main. I won the main, and we won the team trophy. So after the race, I'm like, okay, so we're good. I don't really want to race Cruiser again. He's like, nope, we're fine. We're good. And I didn't race it again until 85 when I was on GHP, and I raced 85 and 86, 2 seasons of Cruiser, and then no more after that.
Who's this rider, the Kuwahara rider in front of you in this photo, Greg?
That's Frank Post.
Oh, that's Frank Post?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
He was super fast. And that's at a race. Forget where it's in Texas somewhere, I think. But yeah.
Man, we're not going to do trivia tonight, Kev. There's just too much stuff to look at here. The Vans Pro Spectacular Shimano Racing Team.
Yeah.
You're 17 years old. You're
Right.
on Shimano, but you're clearly riding a GT.
Yes. That's when I was. So that's when I was riding Shimano, Bobby Encinas. Richard Long had asked me months before that if I wouldn't mind riding a GT. He'd give me $400 a month to ride the frame. So I said yes. We went to the track. This is at the Anaheim Sports Arena, which is like 6 miles from my house where we were living in Santa Ana.
Mm-hmm.
And a buddy of mine, we went to the track to look at it. And I looked at him and I said, dude, this track is like less than 20 seconds. There's no track here. It's just, this is like being at my house, coming out of the gate and going around the mailbox. So it was Friday when we went to look, and it was a Friday night pro spectacular. So I said, I don't want to practice. Let's go back to my house. Can we drop like 50 gates? And he's like, yeah. So we did gates. And then we came back for the evening for the race. Did a couple laps. They started racing. We raced the whole night, and it was just like being in my driveway. It was like,
hey, Greg, is this pavement and ramps on this one? It's kind of hard to tell.
It's concrete with wood ramps. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it was kind of hard to tell. So here's
with resin on the concrete. You could literally drag me around the corner.
Is that why it's got like this brown kind of look to it?
Yes, it's powdered resin. They put it on there, and it's like if you walk on the track, your foot will come out of your shoe.
Wow.
Yeah, it's super, super sticky.
So is this the same race right here that we're looking at, or no?
Yeah, that's the same race, exact same. That's a different part of the track, but that's the same one as the first jump that you showed.
Yeah. Weren't you Bobby Encinas like spot you for like a race or something, right? Or
I basically rode for him for probably 4 or 5 months, and then Richard after this, I think it wasn't too long. He was like, I want you to ride for GT full time. So that's what we did.
I think this is a shot of you chasing Brent here.
Yeah, we're on tour. I think we're in Maryland in that. And it would just be like a regular local race, because when you go on the tour and back in 80, 81, it wasn't just points at nationals. It was every dollar you earned was towards the title. So we'd be on tour and race on a Tuesday night in BFE somewhere and win like $192, and that's 192 points, you know?
That's crazy. There was a small insight. This is like a fantasy for me, dude, because I've reviewed so many magazines by myself and only can imagine what you're thinking. Doing this, I'm getting excited right now, man. That's why I said I'm going to bump trivia.
It's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
You were wall riding right here, dude. Do you remember doing it?
Yeah, that was after we would go to the Valley Teen Center in Van Nuys, and after the races, we would go to the local skate park, and they would allow bikes to ride. So we would go in there. If you look up at the very top, there's a girl sitting up there. That's my old. That's not Tiny. I'm the youngest. I have another sister named Jonna, and that's her. And then Tiny.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Hey, Greg, I asked Billy Griggs this question. What was the sketchiest thing you've ever done on a bike? Was it a jump? Was it a track? Does something stand out saying, like, did you ever not have guts to do something? Or does any kind of
it's really funny because, when you're younger, right, and you look at a certain jump or a track and you think it's super gnarly, and then later on in life you see it and you're like, wow, that's not really that big. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the perspective. Yeah. So this national, an NBL national at Devonshire Downs in like 1985, they put this massive jump in. Okay. I have a photo of it on my phone. I'll text it to you when we're done here. I got a text message from Robbie Roop last night, and a group text. So he texted me and Clint Miller, and he found this photos. There's like 3 or 4 of them, and it shows us doing this jump. So when we first got to the track and we look at this jump, it's like right before the last turn. So you're already racing the whole track. You're tired. You come through a left hand that drops down about 15 feet onto a flat. You sprint your ass off, and then you hit the jump. The face of the jump was so big that you couldn't see beyond it, right? So the whole thing was like, now in perspective, maybe it wasn't that gnarly, but it was way gnarlier than what we raced every single weekend. Okay.
Right.
So the strategy was literally come off of that flat. It was like a flat kind of a turn that dropped down. You probably had about 40 yards to get your sprint on. And it was pedal your ass off and then just huck it. And that was the gnarliest thing, because every other thing that we would do, like if we were out riding trails, I would not jump something like that. I'm not down to like huck something I cannot see where I'm going.
Yeah.
So, but you kind of know that if you got the speed and you hit this just right, even if someone's in your way, then you pull to the side and you gas it. At this point, you don't give a shit if you're passing them. You want to make the gap, because there was some guys that hit their brakes and had to roll through it, and they literally got passed by everyone. So that was the gnarliest Devonshire Downs NBL race. The jump, it was a monster double. It was crazy.
You know what I'm going to say, Danny? You know what I'm going to say right now?
That's the same jump that Billy was.
That's the same jump that Billy Griggs said, dude.
Yes, it's just it was because we were racing tracks that we knew what we were riding on. There wasn't ever a jump that you would hit that you couldn't see beyond it. This jump, you're sprinting, dude. It's like I'm watching Supercross, and these guys are coming out of a turn and they gas it and they're going up, the face of a jump, and they can't see where they're going. But you know the speed, you know exactly where you're going to go, so you do it. When we were the first time you're in practice, and it's like you got to jump this thing, and you're like, I'm not going first. So pro practice is like, who's going to go first, dude? We need to watch somebody eat shit so we can. I'm not going first. There's no way.
You want to hear what Billy said?
What do you say?
Billy said the exact same jump. I believe it's the same jump.
He did.
But he said that Tim Evatt was the first one to do it. He hucked it, and then that Billy was a 16X, and he did it before any of the pros did it.
Yeah, because see what Billy did, the little shithead. I love Billy, by the way. We're good buddies. But I give him a hard time because you little bastard. You're the one that's always sneaking in practice and doing shit before we do. It's like I'm out in practice at some of the nationals, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to hit this section. And here goes Billy. I'm like, the dude's not even in our class, and he just hit the section perfect. Now I have to do it. You know what I mean? And they wouldn't kick him out of practice. They wouldn't tell him that you're in the wrong practice. You're just like, heaven forbid you get on the gate. Like I would never gate with any of them dudes, because it's like we're in pro practice and you look and you see this dude's 17X. I just let him go. There's no way I'm giving you bragging rights. You're going to beat me out of the gate because you're jumping the gate. Your second pedal sucks. I'm going to be 2 bikes ahead of you at the first turn. And all I'm going to hear all weekend is that, oh, Joe Blow beat Hill out of the gate. No, you didn't. You know what I mean? So,
Danny, who said that? Wait, it was Greg that said that. No one races. Wait, was you, Greg, that said no one wins practice, or was it Stu?
Yeah, that was great.
Nobody wins practice, but people will brag off on it. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. I would for sure.
That is the funniest shit I've ever heard. Too.
Yeah, that's crazy. Figures Billy would do that. Billy was good for that, but Billy was a good rider, so he was always someone that you're like, all right, like Billy and I and Gary Ellis battled in '88 for the NBL Pro title, and I watched Billy come up, so you already know this dude's coming.
Yeah,
like you know what he's bringing because he's good, you know.
Yeah.
So,
1982 UCI Pro World Championship photos. Any memory of these, Greg?
19, yeah, go a little higher. That top one is from a place called Centennial Park in Santa Ana. The bottom one is from Dayton, Ohio. It's the 82 World Championships. And that's Anthony Sewell next to me. Yeah.
That's a great man. You had a lot of battles with Anthony. Golly.
Anthony was super fast. He was unbelievably just super fast. You could look at someone, okay, this is the deal with Anthony. You could
Yeah.
look at Stu and you're like, man, that bastard's huge. He's strong as hell. You know he's fast. You could
Yeah.
look at Eric Roop and you're like, that dude's fast as shit. You just know. Okay. There's a lot of guys like that. You look at Anthony Sewell, he's got his Jopa on. It's all sideways. He's got his collar out his jersey. He's got one-piece cranks. He's riding shitbox bikes with one-piece cranks. His bars are crooked. He's pulling you down the first straight. You're going, what in the hell is going on here? Like, that guy was fast, man.
He always looked like he was like dead sailoring it over every jump. He's kind of like,
But
he looked a little stiff.
yeah, well, and if you remember, if you look through the archives, you'll see a Myriad where there's this big cliff jump and all the pro riders on the team are standing down the hill and you got Anthony Sewell doing a no-hander off of it.
I
Massive
seen that.
jump.
Yeah.
So he could jump. Everyone says, well, Anthony couldn't jump. No, he could jump. The problem is that when he wasn't racing, he was out riding, he could jump great. When he was in a race, he was so fast and he was pedaling so fast that when he hit a jump, he never really set up for it. So you could get him over a jump because he didn't get off the gas. It's not that he didn't know how to jump. He didn't know how to set up for the jump properly. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
That's what you're saying. Yeah.
But he was super fast, man. Like, really good.
You see him always out front, so you knew he.
Yeah, he's fast. There's no doubt about it.
You got an ad here called The Dominant Force. It's a GT ad. I wonder if you have any memory of shooting this ad.
Yeah, so so that's inside of the GT warehouse. A couple of days before the ad was shot, we were told we had to come do an ad. I asked Richard and a couple other people, what's the concept of the ad? And they're like, oh, we're going to do this, this, and that. So I'm like, here's what I think we should do. Bring some dirt in. And if you look real close, you see a rider with a Diamondback jersey trying to climb up the hill. Can you see him?
Yeah, on the bottom.
Yes. So it's like, hey, we're battling with Diamondback every weekend. Let's make it look like we're on top of the hill and they're trying to get up to us. And they actually bought into my idea. So we did that for the ad. It was cool.
That is awesome. Love it.
Who came up with the ad with you and Clem Miller? Who came up with "It Takes One to Know One"? That's always one of my favorites.
Yeah, No, I think it was somebody my dad had doing some stuff for us. I don't know who it was. I don't know.
All right. That was a great one, man.
But that was cool one. That was cool.
Hey, Greg, who was more proud of you, your mom or your dad? Did either parent brag about you to their friends and family?
I don't know, man. All we did was BMX. So everywhere we went, we were just around BMX people. It wasn't like we ever went to like a separate gig with, it wasn't like that so much. So we got into BMX and that was everything. It was all consuming,
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I'd be bragging about my kids all over town.
Yeah, I think my mom, I think it was equally right, but my mom would be more like the bragger. My dad would be more, let's do some more starts. Hey, if that guy cuts you off, run him into a ditch. Don't let people push you around. You got to beat their ass in the parking lot. My dad was like more like crazy. Okay. Like my mom was proud and bragging. My dad was like in there with the whole,
Did you think you ever went too far? Did you think he pushed you too hard, or was it just right?
No, he didn't really push me too hard because a lot of times I would just really like look at him and think like, okay, like this isn't anything new. I've been hearing this my whole life. But the things that he did do that cost me heavily, which I won't get into. But the picture where they have mattresses on the trees in Grass Valley.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were at a national, and I was pro, and I was 14, and I was on the gate, and I was in lane 1. And if I went straight, there's a redwood tree in lane one. I mean, you are in lane one, and if you go straight, you're mashing into the tree, period. Well, right as we're up on the gate, okay, and out 50, 25, 30 feet to the left is the little platform where Merle Meniga was announcing and they were calling it off and the starter was there. Well, right before they were ready to drop the gate, someone starts to walk across the track. And I'm like, you got to be kidding me. Can I go hide under a freaking, my dad is walking across the track and he goes straight over, stops at Merle Meniga and points to him and says, hey, if my kid hits that tree right now, I'm going to come out here and I'm going to beat your ass in front of all these people. And he turns around and he walks away.
Wow.
So that didn't help me much. That caused me a lot of problems with the APA. We're going to leave that alone. But yeah, so my dad wasn't the bragger. He was more like the, like, let's roll the sleeves up and let's kick some ass here.
Very good.
You know?
These are some great GT shots. These are definitely in your prime.
Yeah, that's at Parks and Recs, the one on the right.
Yeah.
Parks BMX in Fullerton. The one on the left, the only thing I can tell you about the one on the left, it's just makes me laugh when I look at it, is that it's an NBL national. It's back east somewhere. But I have a good buddy in Germany. His name's Henry Pollock. And
Yeah.
this dude, and we love Planet of the Apes. You're going to get it once I say this. He sends me that photo all the time and he doctors it up and he calls me Cornelius because I look like I look like Planet of the Apes in that photo. You get it now, apparently. So yeah.
Okay, because of the beard.
No, you look like a 70s G.I. Joe, dude.
Dude, I used to get that photo text to me by 2 or 3 different friends all the time telling me that I look like Cornelius, dude. Unbelievable.
All right, so Greg, what is going on in this photo?
That photo is at UCLA BMX Action, like Osborne. In motocross action, they had a physical test with the top 6 motocrossers. They went to UCLA. They did the treadmill. They did the bench press, the leg press, the this. They tested like 8 or 10 different things. And then they graded everybody to find out who was the best in shape, whatever. And so then Osborne kind of mimicked that and we set up the same thing. So that's on the treadmill.
Yeah.
Which sucks. It just sucks, dude. The treadmill sucks. If you've ever done a stress test for medical physicals or this or that on the treadmill, and it's pretty cool for like the first 7 or 8 minutes, and then it starts going a little steeper, a little faster, a little steeper, a little faster. And it was just, and anyways, that was part of that deal.
It said you went 14 and a half minutes doing that.
Yeah, I was like either the worst one or the second worst, and Brent Patterson was like, out of all the guys that we did this, I think out of all the guys that did it in the group, everybody was fast, but Brent and I were like kind of like what you'd call sprinters, Stu and Harry were like, dude, they could race for like, if the track was 5 minutes long, they're good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so anyways, I didn't go that long. I think Stuart went 16 minutes and Harry went, like, him and Harry were battling for the length, whatever.
And you got a good memory, Greg, because that's exactly what it says. Stu and Harry did 16 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I think I beat them on, I don't know exactly, but I know that I beat them on the flexibility thing. I where you're sitting, your legs are on the floor and you reach forward as far as you can.
Yeah.
And I don't know if those results are in there, but I think I got that. The grip strength thing I won, and the bench press I did good at. I don't know, but you know what? The whole thing that you can't measure is and this is a prime example, and this is not being mean, this is just being real, is that you look at a guy like Sean Texas, who was in that, who's strong as an ox. Dude, if you don't have it going on up in here, you can't win. Period. You can have all the physical stuff. You can have the best equipment. You see it all the time in other sports.
Yeah.
There's guys that are really great, but they don't have to get to the next level. You got to have something that has nothing to do with strength and nothing to do with your bike. It's all heart and soul and passion. That you can't do a test for that.
Yeah, I get that. Definitely. You got some covers here. Now, some of these magazines, Greg, I don't recognize. One
Yeah.
says Total BMX.
Yeah.
And this one says BMX. I don't know what it's. I can't barely read it because it's in blue.
Right.
But take a look at these.
Okay, let's see here. Yeah, so Total BMX was a magazine that was kind of done by the NBL.
Okay.
Right. Then there's another magazine, BMX Weekly. I don't know if I can't see it from here, but that one it's one from the UK.
That's what
There's
that
one
is.
that
Okay,
was called BMX Action Bike or BMX Action Now or something. I don't know if it's in there, but that was also from Europe. Then you got BMX Plus and BMX Action.
The bicycle motocross one here on the very bottom is really, really cool. Do you remember that race?
That's at Long Beach at the NBL Grand at an NBL National. I think it was, and that's Bobby Woodson second.
That's a great shot right there.
Yeah.
That's a great shot. We're almost we're never going to finish, but we'll just do
It's
a
all
few
good.
more. All right. I don't want to keep you
I think
all
one of my, I don't know if you've seen the photo or not, but one of my favorite photos in there is a photo of Stu and I from the back. And
it's the next photo.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, because, and I've had people say, why do you like that photo? And it's like, well, I don't see what everyone else sees when they look at that. So I see, and you know what? The race sucked. It was the Pro Open main event at the World Championships in 1983. I was winning. He was second. I hope he's listening because I've told him this before. I went into the turn. He was coming inside. We were going to have contact. And I'm like, yo, I'm not going to be the only one to get dirty. So you know what? We're both going down. We both crashed. Andy Patterson went around and won. Good for him. Great for him. That's cool. But when I look at the photo, what I see is I see that a dude who was 10 years old, who his sister took him to the track, and she happened to like this other dude who's next to me, and they started dating, and they got married, and we're family, and it's like, hey, we may not be blood, but we're brothers, and you could put our resumes together and put everything we've won on paper. It's not bad. We did pretty good, and that's kind of like, that's kind of how I look at it.
Hey, Greg, I think that I noticed way back when we first started on the back of your leathers, it said you lose when you were a little kid, right?
Yeah, that was not me, dude. That was not me. My dad took my helmet, and I didn't know this, and he had someone paint on the back of it, you lose. And then he's like, hey, check this out. And I'm like, why would you do that? Like, I'm going to get laughed at every time I go race because nobody wins every race.
Right.
And I wasn't winning a whole lot. When he put it on there, I was like 10, 11 years. Check it out. When he put it on there, I was like 10 or 11 years old. My wife was beating me every freaking race, dude. I was getting beat every race, and it said you lose on the back of my shit. It's like, how embarrassing. And then we got to a point, and that came and went. And then I got on GT, and Richard Long is like, hey, we need to make a statement. You need to put you lose on the back of your pants. I'm like, please, dude. I'm not going to win every race. So you know how awesome it is when, and I've heard this so many times, dude, where you're coming across the line in like third or fourth, and dudes are on the side looking over going, ha ha, you lose. It's like fuck you. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
I think that's bitching that you kept that. It started so young, and you ran that on your leather so long.
I mean, it became something. I put on my license plate. I kind of went with it, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't never put my kid. I would never do that to my kid. You know?
Danny's trying to figure out what he wants on the back of his leathers for Dirty Fest.
I'm just putting my name, man. I gave up with coming up with something to catch.
I think I don't know. You got to come up with something that's fun. You know.
I got great. I got peace out.
There we go. That's no one can give you a hard time for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I got 69 on the back of my jersey.
Oh god, dude!
Awesome.
This was my teammate. I got to deal with this stuff, dude.
That's good. That's good shit. That's cool, man. Right on.
Great. I wanted to put like fake co-sponsors on the jersey, and I put Viagra. And Danny goes, "No, I'm not riding a jersey with Viagra on it, dude."
Dude, it says Viagra and Insure right here. I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna wear Viagra.
I mean, that's kind of. I got to side with Dan. I mean, you can't be riding with Viagra. That's kind of hardcore, man. That's crazy. I don't know.
This photo, Greg, we talked about it last time you were on the show, and this one, this says it all.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, that is iconic.
Yeah, that's just the whole thing with GT and the Magic. Richard Long hanging over Richard Long is hanging over there screaming. He'd just assume reach over and grab Sandy and choke him.
Yeah.
Because we were on the team sheet, and a lot of times it would. And I know for sure, that Diamondback did not use Harry too much on their team shirt in the pro because love Harry, okay, but he didn't win a lot of races. He was more flash, and he did good, but he didn't win a lot of races. And so a lot of times we would be going with the team sheet, and they only take your 4 best finishes, right? Your 4 riders, right? And we would have you like Schofield and this guy and that guy, and they've already won, and now I gotta win, and so that for Richard and for me being on the team sheet, it was magic because a lot of teams didn't use their pros on team sheets,
Yeah. I see this photo and I see somebody that is at their absolute peak of just, you're at your absolute peak, dude. Every time I see that photo, that's what I think about you. You know what I mean?
I think a lot of, and I feel like that was at a peak, but I think a lot of people look at that photo and they'll see where the hands raised, the number one's in the air, and they're like, oh, dude's arrogant or he's this, he thinks he's number one. But what that deal is that I'm not doing that. So we were pitted right across where I'm looking, the first, second, third, by the third turn, we were pitted over there.
Right.
And we raced last. And so I left the pit area. Richard Long was there in the pit area. And so I didn't know he was there until I came around and he was there. And so I'm pointing at our team. Like I'm like on like like in track and field when they do the what do they call that? When they have the 4 dudes and they got to hand the baton off.
Oh, the triathlon. No, the relay.
The relay, dude. So I'm like the last guy, right? So it's like I'm just being like, "Yo, we did it." You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of I'm really pointing at our team, and it was a cool moment,
Dude, I'd have that thing blown up. I'd have on my living room wall, dude.
I try to. I mean, I only have one thing. I don't know if I told you this last time or not, but I only have one thing in my house. It's like my '85 Nora Cup. It's over behind me over here.
Yeah.
It's over. I don't know.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you can see it or not. It's over there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't have like I don't know. I don't have all that stuff. I don't know why.
Because you've been there, you've already climbed that mountain, bro.
Yeah,
I'm
there
like
you go. That's a good way of looking at it.
62 years old, get up in the morning and know you did 10 million gate starts as you're creaking your way to the coffee thing. And it's like body's jacked. I tell my wife sometimes, I'm like, if I would have known that I would have felt like this, I probably would have done something different. And then she's real quick to be like, yeah, you could have played football and then you could have had your knee blown out and you could have been injured. You'd still be injured unless you sat around and did nothing. So yeah, it is what it is,
Yeah, I gotta say, I was like thinking about this the last time we had this conversation about, because you mentioned something about you wish you would have just played football and not put so much into BMX, but man, you would have just been one of millions of kids that play football, or you could have been Greg Hill.
Yeah, I think it's normal human nature in life to be to always wonder, you know what I'm saying? Like at our ages and like, hey, what path should I take in? Or what if I would have done this? And like, I don't know that there's anybody that can just be like never thinking that. It's sometimes crosses your mind,
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I wouldn't trade it for nothing. It's all good. So
we wouldn't want to trade it for anything either, dude. We have too much fun.
I appreciate it, man. It's all good. It's cool.
All right, dude. Are you ready, man? Because you're about to break out of the mold on this one. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Shit. I think so. Yeah,
That's a great ad.
that was myself and my dad come up with that. It was just getting off of GT, starting fresh, the whole breaking out of the mold concept. That was in our garage. And
Wow.
styrofoam,
That's not
dude,
at a studio, huh?
get some styrofoam. No, it's in our garage with a backdrop, paper backdrop deal. We got some foam, set the frame down, traced it, then cut out like to make it look like the frame was there, you know,
Yeah.
so that it would look like you open it up and then we're breaking out of the mold. And you
That's
know,
sick.
That's
So,
awesome.
so you guys made that ad for maybe a couple $100.
yeah, we made it for like nothing, man. We paid the photographer and whatever that cost. It wasn't much, you know.
Wow, dude, guerrilla marketing, dude, that's awesome.
Dude, we've almost done the whole book. This is awesome, dude.
Yeah,
Sorry, Greg.
I mean,
I've kept you here for 2 hours, man. I'm really
no,
sorry.
man, it's all good. It's
Hey,
it's
Greg,
cool.
you understand? I've had to listen to Danny's been wanting to do this since you hang up last time.
Yeah, dude.
That's
I was
good.
like, hey, Greg wants to do his book. Greg wants to do his book.
Hey,
And Kevin's like, hold on, man. We got other guests. I'm like,
I know you got to like, and I was
Yeah.
trying to get other people to get on there, but I mean, it sounds like you guys have been going through a lot of good people. So
Yeah, we got good.
there is,
yeah, after you came on, it kind of opened the floodgates because I
Yeah,
think people
it's
were
good.
like, well, if Greg
It's all
went
good.
on, then I guess I can go on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it helped a lot. This
there
was
is. Okay,
go
go
ahead.
ahead. I don't want to miss one photo on there. So when you're all done, there's one I want to hit on. So go ahead. I don't know what it
100%.
is.
This says taking over the lead. So it's you and it looks like Pete Lonkarovich, a young Pete Lonkarovich.
Let's
They're
see.
kind of going at it.
Yeah, that was at Burbank Equestrian Center round 6 in November, 83. That's
Was that when
the
weren't you there the other day? Is that the place you were at, Greg, the other day?
yeah. So the other day I got him. The other day it was a Wednesday. It was last Wednesday. My daughter-in-law asked if I wouldn't mind picking up my grandson Jackson. He's 5 years old, and so I had to go get something. I was literally close to the equestrian center, and I was just cruising because I was early to go get him. And I thought, man, I'm going to pass the equestrian center. I can't. And I just went this trip down memory lane, and I drove over there, and I turned around, did a U-turn, went a half a mile, and I was there, and I just took a photo because there's a lot of memories there, man. There was 2 races there for me, and
Yeah.
that the series, and it was just a really, really huge moments, you know, in my racing. So
That's awesome, man. Greg, do you remember the NBL Grands? This shot, it says losing the battle, winning the war. So I think you got the title, right?
yeah, so that one, let's see here. Yeah, so that's just a normal one of our motos. There's another picture, and I'm on the ground. So what happened was we raced our motos, and I had Pete Lonkarovich, who I was so first place in the main was 40 points. Okay. Going into the Grands, I had a 39-point lead ahead of Pete. However, the NBL made a mistake, and they had given him 10 more points. I really had a 49-point lead, right?
Okay.
So I really had the race sewn up before it ever happened, and the title sewn up. But what happened in our semi is he kicked my tire. He literally going into the turn. I'm in second. Hindsight's 2020. I should have taken 3 more cranks, and I should have put them into about the 5th row of the parking lot. The cars that are parked, I would have put them out in there, but I didn't. I should have. Given the chance to do it again, I would do that. And sure enough, in the semi, I'm in second. I start to slow up to give him space because all I got to do is make the main.
Right.
He slows up, looks down, and the turn is pretty high banked. So he's up high and I'm in the mid, and he's looking down at me. He looks down at me. We have eye contact, and he kicks my tire. I go right over the bars. He wins all 3 mains, and at the race, they award him the title. He's number 1, blah, blah, blah. Beat me by 1 point, and I was like, "There's nobody's winning a title by 1 point. We're counting everything here." And anyways, it wound up that I moved up to first, Eric moved to second, and he got moved to third because they gave him 10 more points than he should have got at a race in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
They gave him like a first place and when he got really fourth place. So they did. He got a fourth. He got a first in the first main, and then he got like a seventh or a fourth, whatever. He got fourth overall, not first. And they literally counted that first main where he won as his overall when really he got fourth overall.
Oh, okay. I remember reading about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did a points audit and we determined they sent me all the point sheets and everything. And I'm like, look right here at this race, this is what happened. And Bob Tedesco was like, wow, you're right. And I'm like, do the right thing, man. Make it easy for all of us because do the right thing. Because I already been to this movie twice before and I ain't doing it a third time. And so he did.
Oh, yeah.
What was cool is 2 months later, being in Oklahoma
Yeah.
for the third main, 85 between Ronnie Anderson and Pete Lonkarevich.
Yeah.
They each have a first and an eighth. So they're going into the third main with 9 points. And there's nobody else mathematically up for the title. So whoever does better in the third main wins the title between them.
You're right.
I got lane 2, Pete's got lane 1, and I ran him so far off the track, he had to grab his brakes. People had to jump out of the way, and I won, and Ronnie got second, and he got last. And that was like my payback for him kicking my tire. So
Oh, man.
you have to give people, you have to give them back with interest, dude, and you got to do that as soon as possible. That's what has happened.
Crazy.
Anyways.
What's going on here on this one, Greg? 1985. Just a solo photo of you, GH picture, rocking the number 1, though.
Well, that was at Parks, and it was a photo shoot. That picture where your hand is holding the book,
Yeah.
that would have been where Brian Patterson was. There was an actual photo shoot we did for JT,
Okay.
and he was in the photo, and I cropped it for the. I don't know what the verbiage says, to be honest with you. I think it talks about the '85 season and kind of a recap gig. I don't know exactly. I can't
You
remember.
got it says here, I did a few things to change up my training. I also did hypnosis therapy to clean up my mental state.
Yeah.
And the year ended up with me winning the NBL number 1 pro cruiser titles. Dan, you won pro and pro cruiser title. The USBA number 1 pro, USBA number 1 pro cruiser, UCI pro cruiser world champion, and then you got your 3rd NORA Cup. You won about 75 races. God dang.
So that was kind of the, I don't know, that was just that picture to me is what that represented, is coming back from having a shit year the year before, you know.
Probably a good idea that you didn't do the movie Rad in 19. You did so much in 1985.
You can't miss a whole season for that unless it's worth your while, you know.
All right, man. So this one right here is pretty freaking awesome. It's like you just won your 3rd NORA Cup, and I guess Bob Osborne got a photo shoot idea. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm gonna just that was you don't even know how much text messages of total baggage I've get from some of my friends. That was all Wendy Osborne right there. She went and rented all this crap and from the prop store and they got the backdrop and the smoke and the colors and all this crap. So
it's actually kind of badass though, dude. I mean, it's definitely 85, right?
Yeah, it is, but you know, tell that to some of my buddies who just love to make fun. It's all good.
What was there one ad that you did either on any GT or GHP that really got you traction or money or profile, or was there one ad that really hit home more than the other?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know. It's hard to say. You know, it's hard to answer that. I don't know. Honestly, I don't.
As a company owner, or as like for an owner of a company, if there was any metrics that were used on these advertising with these magazines where you knew your ROI on an ad or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm kind of curious if that ever happened.
I don't think so, because I think I think the return on investment situation came from going to the races and the pictures that Oz would post in the magazine and BMX Plus would post. And the ads were cool, but there wasn't the same as if you get a full page picture at a race where you won. Because I think everyone knows you're paying to run that ad, but like if you go win a race and you got a good photo from that, that's just more authentic, if you will. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I agree.
When I got this book, Greg, I didn't realize that you and Tommy Brackens had such a great friendship. Because when I think of Tommy, I think of Tommy and Mike Miranda. I think everybody thinks that from our perspective.
Yeah,
but you guys, apparently you guys are buddies.
Well, we're like the guy. I mean, like I talked to him today on a text message just to ask him a quick question. And we always end with, "Hey, I love you, bro," and a heart. It's like the guy is my brother. I love him. He's not somebody I battled with and that I hated on the track. I never ever said a bad thing about him. He never said a bad thing about me. We have each other's back. If I'm somewhere, even now, if I go to Dirty Fest and I look over and Tommy's getting into it with somebody and some dude's trying to hurt him or whatever, I probably run over there, move Tommy out of the way, and just punch the dude in the face. Because not because Tommy can't handle himself.
Yeah.
But I just love the guy. He's a super genuine human being. And he's the most real guy that you could ever want to meet. He's super, super cool.
He was supposed to be on today or yesterday.
Sunday.
What happened?
I got it back into town late, and I
okay.
in time. So Tommy's coming on in 2 weeks.
Okay, you got to ask him about the plane ride, dude. You cannot forget that.
The plane ride.
Yeah,
the plane ride to France. The birthday plane ride. You got to ask him. It was just unbelievable. Really unbelievable.
My point of saying that was super sweetheart of a guy. He could have been more understanding.
Yeah, he's never gonna ever say a bad word. Okay, I've never heard him say the F word ever.
Wow.
I've never ever seen him drink alcohol. I've never ever heard him talk about anyone and say anything bad.
Wow.
Ever. I've never heard it.
Yeah.
He's just a model citizen. Period.
Yeah. Apparently he likes his beauty sleep, Greg, because he does not want to interview after 3:00.
Oh yeah, he goes because he wants to go home and unplug and spend time with his wife, which I totally get.
Yeah.
Totally get it.
He loves beauty sleep.
We're getting towards the end of this, Greg, but you did have this is awesome because in 2008, you took Randy Stumphauser to a national title, dude.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, dude. I mean, that photo right there is, I'm going to say something. I don't care what anyone says. He would have never won if he wasn't on our team. And it wasn't about GHP. It was about the training we did and the things we did. And he did it all and it worked. And he
was in his 30s, man. I mean, he was going against like Maris Stromberg.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Dude, he and I talked in 2008 at Utah at an ABA National, and he just won the NBL Grands. No, he won the NBL Pro title, okay? And he says, we're sitting there, and there's not a lot of people, and he looks at me and he goes, Hillage. I said, what's up? He goes, yeah, I'm getting dropped. I just won the NBL Pro title, and GT's dropping me, and they're keeping Mike Day, who got a silver medal.
Oh, wow.
I'm like, you're kidding me. And so I just didn't really say a whole lot. And then later we worked it out. And I said, hey, we don't have a lot of money, but I can cover your expenses and give you a salary and give you some bonuses and I'll leave you alone. I won't bother you on the training thing, only if you ask me.
Okay.
But don't ask me unless you're 100% all in and you do everything I tell you, nothing less. And he's like, okay. And the first 3 races of the year, he did terrible. And then he called me and he's like, Hillage. And I'm like, what's up, dude? He goes, I'm ready. I'm ready to talk. I'm like, all right, we're going to meet halfway because he lives in Fresno. I said, bring a little notebook. And we met up and we took notes. I told him what I want him doing. He started program. And it was 8 months, not 10 months later, he won the ABA pro title.
Man, that's epic, dude. That's epic. And he was, he was older for an elite pro. He was in his 30s.
Yeah, he was the oldest guy. It was such an old. He impressed so many people by being older that the following year I got a phone call from Christian Bestering, who I'd never talked to before.
Mhm.
Sure he's a nice guy. And the conversation was started out with this. Christian says, "Hey, I know you like to work with older guys. Is there any way you can work with me?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, man. I worked with Randy because it was part of GHP and it was part of the bigger picture. I was not wanting to work with a pro rider just to work with a pro rider because takes a lot of work, man. And there's a lot of like bang your head against the wall kind of moments, and I didn't want to deal with that.
Were you at the Grands when you won the title?
Absolutely, dude. At the Grands, before the first main, I just shook his hand, told him good luck. He got a bad gate and he rode stiff and he got 5th. And I don't like to bother people, but I knew what happened. And I told my wife, we're all in the stands watching. I ran out way into the building, into the back where he was riding, loosened up. I said, hey, I got to talk to you. He's like, what's up? I said, listen, you got to chill out, dude. You're trying too hard. You're late on the gate because you're trying too hard. You're too stiff. You're stressing out. You're thinking about winning a title. Screw that. You got a 5th. Nobody's going to win every main. You got to go out in the next race and handle it. So he goes, okay. So he went out in the next race and he got 2nd. He had a 5 and a 2, 7 points. Kyle Bennett had 2 points. Maris Stromberg's had probably, I don't know. Randy had to finish overall. He had to beat Maris. Okay.
Right.
So after the second main, when I watched it, I'm like, Maris is hauling ass down the first straight. And in my brain, I had this thing figured out because I knew what lane they were going to have.
Right.
So I went down and I said, I need to tell you something. Don't talk, listen, let it log in and don't think. Just log it in. He's like, all right, what's up? I said, you're going to go down the first straight. You have to assume that Maris is going to be ahead of you, but he's on the outside. I want you to hit your brakes as you go into the turn and carve for the inside line. That'll put you ahead of him. Okay?
Right.
And as you exit the turn, I want you to shut to the right and I want you to move his ass off the track. Just ride the white line and he's going to be over here.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm telling you, that's exactly what happened. He got out. Kyle was gone, I think. And as they came to the turn, as they went into it, Maris was a half a bike ahead of Stump, but he cut hard on the inside and he got ahead of him. And then he came out and he shut over and he was riding the white line. And then I said, you ride your ass off and get to the finish line. Run this dude off the track. And so he was on the white line. Maris had to brake check. And then they went and they came out of the last turn and Maris was coming. And then they drag raced it and he held him off and got the 2nd. Maris got the 3rd and that gave him the title. It was unbelievable.
Dude, how much did that hit you? Was it almost like you doing it all over again, or is it just a
I don't know how to explain it. I really, truly do not. But like when I watch those guys doing their motos and racing their semis and they're racing the first 2 mains.
Yeah.
And I know their lane picks, where they're at on the gate, where they're going to come out. Okay. And I know that if Stump gets his normal start, I knew where they were going to be. I would have bet my house on it, dude. And It was just when it was all over and done. And it was just like a surreal moment. It was really surreal. It was unbelievable.
That's a great story, man. I love that. What do you think,
It was
Kev? That's pretty awesome, huh?
really cool.
Dude, I think we were topping our first episode, dude. I think this is
Yeah. That's
Because
why
it's like
that's why I'm
it's
trying
the
to tell
back.
you,
It's the back
dude.
part that people don't know about. It's the people don't
Yeah.
hear this kind of stuff. You
Yeah.
know,
awesome, man.
And it's crazy.
The pride of knowing, or just the accomplishment of helping somebody do what he got done, must be incredible, man.
Yeah, I mean, like not taking any credit. It's like, dude, it was like we were a team.
Yeah.
But dude, listen, this guy was at the gym, okay, and he had an Olympic barbell which weighs 45 pounds, and he had two 45s on each side. That's 225 pounds, okay. And twice a week, he was doing jump squats. He was getting this high off the ground with 225 pounds on his back. He was doing 4 sets of anywhere from 3 to 5 reps, jumping, getting in the air with that on his back. Okay.
Damn.
And he was doing other stuff that I've never really talked about. And it was just showing up, and he was winning races. And he was the only guy I saw pull Maris Stromberg's. How does a guy that's 5'7", weigh 160 pounds, pull Maris Stromberg's down a first straightaway? That don't happen, but it did.
Right.
So-
That goes back to what you were saying earlier about the whole mental.
Yes, it's got
Oh, yeah.
it's all it's the whole mental situation, you know.
Right.
So
Wow.
We're getting these photos here, Greg. They're it looks like you have a collage of different photos here. And what's your choice? Your reasoning behind these photos as far as putting them in the book?
they're just random pictures from just different moments. I mean, upper right red line, that's the belt. That's the picture that's used for the belt buckle on the Red Line Summer Tour belt buckle they gave out. That picture.
Oh, nice.
And the other one is 2 Nora cups, and then the other one I'm on Red Line, and it's just to show. It's just nothing really, just random photos, you know.
Yeah, this is showing you towards. I could see how it's kind of evolving towards the back end, because if you think about it, you've got the early red line photo on the top.
Yeah.
And this is where it all started to blow up for you.
Yeah.
And then you come down here. Now you have the back end of your career, but back on red line. It's like a full circle.
Yeah, pretty much. It kind of is, for sure.
Yeah, I love that. All right, and then here's more you lose that we were talking
these were just, I don't know, man. That's GT days, man. Those were good days. Really good days.
What happened to the Porsche, Greg? I've always wanted to ask you that.
I just sold it. I had it for 1.5 or 2 years and sold it, you know.
That's awesome, dude. Awesome.
So,
How many pictures we got left, man? I gotta go to bed.
yeah, dude. Let me just do one photo. I know there's others you might want to, but there's a picture. There's a 2-page deal of my wife in there.
Yep, that's where I'm gonna stop right there.
And just what I want to say is that, like, you know, it's cool that, you know, we raced each other when we were young and all this stuff, but the bigger picture deal is that I can't really, even today, I can't do what I do without having a partner, a soulmate, someone who can finish my sentence and know what I'm thinking. And just like, none of this happens without that. And she's been there for the whole time. And I wouldn't have none of this, or anything I've done would have been really nothing without her being there. So, like, it's super important to me.
These are great shots, man. Great. That's a great place to stop, man. What do you think?
Hey, I know it's long. I know there's a lot of people that are like, dude, I ain't listening to this freaking long ass thing.
No. This is awesome, Greg, man.
It's cool.
Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart again, man. This is awesome. And you fulfilled Danny's request. And now, Danny, you got all your questions, right?
Yeah, I was waiting for this moment, dude, and I was like, I can't wait to do this book, dude. Because Yeah.
we'll come to at Dirty Fest, and I'll sit down when there's no rush and hang out and look
Yeah,
forward to meeting you guys and shit. But I appreciate you having me on here, and
beautiful, man.
it's
Thank you
nice
so
to go down memory lane and stuff. It's cool.
Thank you so much, Greg. We appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg.
All
I
right,
appreciate it, man.
All right,
That was
All right,
awesome.
guys, get some rest.
All right,
Thank
man.
you so much.
All right.
Talk to you soon.
Peace.
Appreciate it. Okay, bye-bye.
Later.
Bye, Greg. All right, my dude.
Oh my God, dude. This is gonna beat the other one by far, dude. This is awesome.
Yeah, we have so much. There was so much backstory to every photo, and we shouldn't have started so long asking questions, but we talked to him for almost an hour before I even opened the book, and I think that's what drew it long. But who cares? It's great footage, man. We're gonna get so much content from this, and it's always gonna be there for anybody to watch. It'll always be.
I wanted to. We were going to have Cindy Partee from Skewed BMX on to talk about our new kits and talk about doing all kinds of good stuff. And as I texted her mid sentence, I go, "Oh, man, we're running long. We're not going to make it, man." So she graciously agreed to reschedule. So I want to publicly apologize to her that to Cindy that we couldn't make it. That we ran long. So. I'm sorry, Cindy. We're going to get you on the next one, hopefully, and we will.
If you want to do a short with her, Kev, just let me know. If she just wants to come on and just promote, because it wouldn't be that long of a show. We could just, if you want to do that, just let me know. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, I'm sorry if you want to get if you're interested in getting a bitchin' kit, that's where we got our kits made, and they're getting made right now. A simple, easy process. You don't want to look like everybody else. You can pay even less and get your own customized kit at Skewed BMX. So you just look up Skewed on the internet. I'm sure you can find her and get your own kit designed for you.
Look at this. Is just an example, man. This thing is. I slipped this T-shirt on. I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I got mine on today too.
Yeah, I love it.
Dude, I did. They're on the new. The hats are not on. Okay.
Okay.
The shirts are on, and I did a white one too.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah.
I'm digging this, dude. I'm like, oh yeah, dude. I love the black, and it's gonna look so dope when we get the race kits done.
Yeah. So I did. I made shirts today. And I worked on the website. So the shirts, there's a couple of different new designs on the website. Now, look, I don't know about you, Danny, but I've been told by 100 people, get merch. I'll support you. Now I'm calling in my favors. All those guys that said, get the shirts made, I'll buy one. Now's the time to get one. Okay.
Yeah.
The website is working flawlessly. Everything, the system is set up. Everything's good to go. Free shipping on all orders. If you really want to support this channel and think that Danny and I are doing something good, go to the website, BMXPodcast.com, and grab some merch, free shipping.
I'm going to say this, Kev, before we wrap, dude. We've come a long way, dude, from our first. I mean, it's only been a little over a year. I mean, but it used to be just me and you just talking about magazines, and now we've had Greg Hill on for the second time. We've had Stu Thompson on. I mean, we got Tommy Bracken's coming. It's just way more than I ever thought that if we ended tomorrow, I'd be like, hey, we're reaching the mountaintop. So I'm like super stoked, man. And thanks for bringing me on board, dude, and making me part of this whole thing.
Oh man, dude, it's been the best. You know, and Greg said right, like, you know, I could do stuff that makes more money, but I wouldn't be as happy. And my family has told me privately, saying, I've never seen you so happy and so eager to do something in years, dude. So every day when we have an interview or we have a show to record, I'm happy all day long, man. Until an hour before the show, then I get nervous.
Yeah, I get it. Because like this afternoon, I was getting my notes ready, at least I have pre-questions ready for the next time we play trivia. But I was getting it all ready, and I start getting my mind right. I go, okay, showtime tonight. You know, it's a cool feeling, dude. Yeah.
Save those trivia questions for next week.
Oh, absolutely. So I don't now. I'm ahead of the game. I don't have to rewrite anything. So we're good to go.
I think we can announce who our next. We have George Goodall, Gorgeous George.
Yeah, George Goodall first, and then
on
Tommy
Sunday the 22nd, and then Tommy Bracken's on March 1st.
March 1st, yeah. And then if you're interested in coming on the show, please reach out to us. We don't care who you are. Just let us know if you want to get on and talk BMX. You know.
Sorry, what you say?
I was saying anybody.
I'm sorry,
what I'm saying, if anybody wants to come on the show, we don't care who you are, man. Just reach out. If you want to talk about BMX, then let's go.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So that's it, man. Yeah, you're still not at 1,000 subscribers, dude.
997, and for God's sakes, dude, 3 more subscribers. For the love of God, just let me get those 3 so I can say I did
it. If you're watching this, please subscribe. Please.
Danny Pena, BMX Racing on YouTube. All BMX magazine reviews, race reviews, all BMX content all the time. Please like and subscribe. I still enjoy doing videos. I'm so involved with Kevin that sometimes I kind of forget. I go, hey, I got to do a video. And so I do knock those out. But the shorts, man, I love making the shorts. Taking your content and some of my content and merging it. And then it just gives me more and more ideas. Today I was reviewing a video that you and I did, and we were going over a magazine from 1982. So I'm going to totally cut all that up and take photos of the magazine itself, like we did today, and just put them in the video. It should be about 30-minute video. So I was already planning that out. I was like, I know exactly what I'm going to do with this. So I'm going to put that together for this.
Yes. Before we end, I want to say something. Right now, we are working on a sponsorship program that we're going to be rolling out within the next week or two. It's going to be fabulous. What Danny and I want to do is we want to work with sponsors. We want to grow together online with the organizations, and we're not looking for sponsors to just put their logo on our website or drop some meaningless commercial inside of our videos. We want to work. We want to partner with a sponsor that wants to work with us. We want to. It's a whole thing. So look forward to that in the next couple of weeks. We're finalizing what we can offer in regards to exposure, about what we can help, what we can work together, and that type of thing. So not just BMX, but a lot of different businesses. So look forward to that. We will be rolling out a sponsorship program in the near future for companies or people that want to support the channel even farther than buying a t-shirt.
Awesome, dude. Well said.
And that will include, I've never seen anybody putting sponsorship ads on Facebook Reels or short.
Yeah, we're gonna put it on all the Reels. So I'm shooting on 4 platforms: YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. So when I do a reel, I make sure it gets its max exposure. So definitely, if we had a sponsor in there, they're going to get a lot of eyes on their product.
I think the biggest one that we had with just us, or our proprietary material, I think it was 60,000 views on Facebook. I got like that. And I think it might have been Greg Hill. I think when he went back to GG, I think that's probably one of my biggest reels, 60,000 or something like that. So we do get some decent views on our shorts and our reels. So we want to include that in our sponsorship program. All
right, man. Well said, my dude.
That's it. If you want to support the channel, don't wait until next week. You can go ahead and hit the subscribe button now. And I think, Danny, we're at 1232, 31, something like that.
Pushing 1,300.
They're pushing 1,300. So thank you very much for Danny and myself. We appreciate you sticking with us, and we hope that you enjoyed the backstory on all these pictures. It's been a fabulous time. Thank you, Danny, for your questions and for your idea to go on. And thank you to your cousin for getting you that book.
Yeah, I gotta thank him. I go, dude, you just got us a lot of content.
All right, bro. Talk to you soon, man.
Later, man.
Until next week.
The track is closed.
All right.